up by like 2 inches.
It's corroded.
And I asked Daddy why he doesn't just take his toupee off now that he has real hair again. But he says that problem is that the antifreeze grown hair is like nuclear green, and he don't want to be all punk rock.
Well, I guess you're happy after getting out to a 40-0 start the other night.
I'm still talking about Daddy, because I also been putting like a handful of windshield glass in the scrambled eggs every morning.
Well, that's terrible, Stephen.
Stop
And
that.
you know what he does? He just compliments Mama's cooking and thanks for adding the crunchy fiber. But you ought to see the crime scene he leaves in the restroom after he does the devil's push.
Oh, no. The devil's push.
Oh, my goodness. The toilet looks like someone field-dressed a deer right above it. Daddy's just too powerful with the dark side of the force. I can't kill him.
He's a tough old boot, isn't he?
Patient. I tried to shoot him the other day with my .22, but the bullet just ricocheted off his titanium hip, came back and cracked my readers.
It's very cartoon-like.
But I'm gonna be GM come hell or high water. It sure ain't gonna be my kid brother Jerry Jr.
Yeah, well, I guess we kind of doubted that, too.
He's so dumb he'd stick a cell phone up his ass to make a booty call. He's still in the special school because he's slow.
Oh, well, I
Really?
imagine he's out of school by now.
He thinks it's great, though, because he's the only kid in his grade that can get on all the rides at Six Flags. And Charlotte ain't interested in running a team. She just wants to be in charge of the costumes.
The costumes.
That's right. And Mama, she spends all her time with Captain Rex now. She says he's going to be our new daddy someday.
Okay.
Wow.
I think
Says he's going to raise us right when he moves in.
I think you're airing way too much family business here.
Guess what I did this morning? I opened up the hood of Daddy's helicopter and threw in a pipe wrench and a shot put.
Would you...
No, that's terrible. You don't need to be doing that.
It doesn't have a hood, does it?
Plus, I keep hiring women to corner Daddy in the Tom Landry suite.
Oh, man.
You're pulling out all the stops.
All to stop. And I got to go now because Jerry Jr. is playing a tree in the musical at his school, and I promised him I'd bring him a balloon.
Oh,
that's
okay.
nice. What a nice brother. Okay, we'll see you. There goes Steven.
For over 3 decades, nobody has had a wrestling career like Arn Anderson. Conrad Thompson gets all the stories with Arn.
Would you rather take the cactus bump from the apron to the floor or give Ric Flair your debit card pin?
Number one, I don't have a debit card, but if you think I'd give him my American Express.
Yeah, there you go. Same thing.
You know, I've been poor most of my adult life up until about the age of 25. I cannot be poor again.
Check out Arn every week, wherever you listen.
La nueva marca Brake Best Select Pro de O'Reilly Auto Parts eleva el estándar de las balatas y discos de freno para vehículos nacionales. Para fórmulas de fricción específicas para cada vehículo, cuñas antirruido Quitec y herrajes de acero inoxidable, elige Brake Best Select Pro de venta exclusiva en tu tienda O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Behavior analysis with the flexibility to fit your schedule. Get prepared for the board-certified exam with the support and clinical experience you need. Don't wait for your future. Create it at St. Edwards. Visit degrees.stedwards.edu.
Get ready for an all-new Hardline segment. It's time to step into the Snake Pit. And now, with something completely over the top, the host and star of the Snake Pit, Snake.
Brought to you by
American Leak Detection.
All right, I cannot believe I'm even bringing this up because this is like a nightmare that I would have had 7 or 8 years ago. So, everybody remembers the Art Briles saga at Baylor. I don't know if you were around this, if you weren't around at this, lived in the area at this time, how big of a story it actually was. To have a team that had elevated itself from the very worst in the nation, Colorado level, I would say.
Yes.
Art Briles took that Baylor team to top 7 status.
It was an unbelievable story.
Yeah, it really was. And he was a badass coach with badass scheme and recruited his tail off. Came from the high school ranks, went to Houston, Baylor got him, and then off they went. RG3, kind of catapulted them in the right direction, but they were so much better through the years after RG3 got there because of recruiting and because of Briles and his assistants. Well, everybody knows what happened. And the scandal blew up the entire program, and it was one of the ugliest scandals. If you hadn't had the Penn State scandal that was kind of right before that, this probably would have been even bigger. But it was a disgrace not only on the school, but to the coaching staff, to the alumni, to the students. And at the very forefront of it was Art Briles.
Because he turned a blind eye to all of it.
Yes, to all the sexual assaults that were going on. It was bad.
Textbook definition of lack of institutional control.
He had a handful of guys on that team that were predators.
Yeah.
They just set loose on campus.
Yeah. That he knew he was recruiting from other places that had history. It was awful. So you know the story. He has been persona non grata ever since. His name popped up a few times, remember, for coaching jobs?
Yes.
At pretty big university. I think Auburn maybe at one point, or one of the Mississippi schools. And it took less than 24 hours each time for the schools to say, we're just joking. No.
Way too hot to handle.
Didn't he coach for a minute in high school?
Mount Pleasant. Yeah, he did for 3 or 4 years, I think. And he's been to Italy to coach. He's been everywhere except on a college football sideline.
Canada?
Maybe. I don't know.
For some reason, I thought maybe he dipped his toes into the Saskatchewan waters, but I might be making that
up. June Jones was coaching up there, and maybe he tried to bring him on his staff.
Okay, that sounds right.
And then they said no.
Yeah, you know what? It was way too hot for...
I don't think so,
Canada.
So he can never get a job in college coaching again, I wouldn't think. He's getting older now, and it's just... Now it's done. But his assistants, including his son, Kendall, they kind of... And I'm not saying they were complicit in anything. I don't know. I'm sure they knew something.
Yeah, but you know how the industry works. If you are on a staff that lacks institutional control, and especially if you are related to the head coach, in general, it's difficult to let that wash away.
But they were able to.
Yes, they were.
I mean, every one of his assistants now has a gig, and a lot of them have really good gigs, including his son, was the OC at Arkansas, and now is the OC at TCU, and nobody blinked an eye when he was hired at either spot. I was just like, yeah, he's great. Nobody cared. Well, at Oklahoma, they hired Jeff Lebby. And Jeff Lebby was on that Baylor staff. He is the son-in-law of Art Briles. Jeff Lebby is married to one of Art's daughters.
Did he meet her when he was on staff at Baylor, or were they married before that?
I don't know.
But son and son-in-law have both taken the father's playbook and offense and have, I don't know if they've done more with it, but they've certainly done with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of their hymnal.
Yeah, taking principles at the very least.
Wild.
They took out the section about rape.
Well, and honestly, they may work with him all week on what do you do in this situation? Tell me, you? I mean, they've worked with him for years, and he's a genius.
He is.
I can't express what a big deal he was in the game of football, in innovation, and in just sort of proving that you could take a program that had nothing and have a stadium built for you, basically, and just everything that Baylor at that 61-58 on that day, he was the biggest name in college football for at least a little time.
The TCU game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Well, so Jeff Lebby now, he went to OU. He, blah, 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 bounced around and then ends up back at OU once Lincoln left. And Saturday night, after the SMU game, Oklahoma played SMU, and after the game, no one said anything, but all of a sudden a picture surfaced of Jeff Lebby and Art Briles on the field with Art Briles wearing an Oklahoma quarter zip. And the internet kind of exploded for good reason. What is this guy doing? Oh, my God, how can you allow this? Everybody knew, obviously, the tie. Everyone knew. But at the same time...
The irony of two schools that know a little something about lack of institutional control through the years.
Right.
With an Art Briles controversy because of his lack of institutional control is actually the very essence of college football.
It was incredibly juicy, and instantly it became a thing. Not only is Art Briles on the field post-game, he's wearing OU gear. Again, son-in-law. Still.
Paid for at the pro shop.
Yeah. So, after the game, Jeff Lebby is asked about it. What is Art Briles doing on the field? Here was Jeff Lebby's response.
Did you reach out to Art Briles and invite him onto the sideline tonight?
That's my father-in-law. So he's my father-in-law. That's a grandfather to my two kids. So he was down with our entire family after the game, well after the game, but he was down there and with the entire family.
I think there's going to be people that have trouble squaring that a little bit because of his...
Yeah, well, again, he's with his entire family. That's my father-in-law. That's a grandfather to my two kids.
So he doubled down hard.
It was well after the game.
Hard.
And he
doubled down.
He thought, all I got to do is...
Force field.
All I got to do is mention grandkids, and I'm good, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to be mad at that. You like your grandbabies, don't you?
So at that point, he then goes to his social media accounts.
Which fixes everything usually.
And changes the photo, which is just of like an OU helmet or maybe him standing there with OU gear on, to a picture of him and Art Briles wearing OU gear.
The viral photo?
I don't know if it was the viral photo, but it was one of the photos that surfaced. So he tripled down. He was so mad that anybody would get mad at him over that. In the meantime, immediately after it all went down, Joe Castiglione, the Oklahoma athletic director, posted this or said this. I was just as disappointed as many of our fans when I learned of the post-game situation tonight. It should not have happened, and it was my expectation it never would, based on boundaries we previously set. I've addressed it with the appropriate staff. Right after that, it was issued. Brent Venables is still at the podium for his 30-minute post-game interview after SMU, and here is as you can imagine, the final question of that presser.
Keep developing our team.
Brent, was Art Briles on your sideline during the game?
I was made aware just before I came in here that he was, and I think that's being dealt with or already has been. So,
did you know he was?
That sound you hear is his nervous thumbs dotting the podium right by the microphone. He literally has no idea what to say here.
Jump leg or whatever.
Yeah, you can pull it up here, Mino.
Dealt with or already has been. So
sorry.
Did you know he was?
No.
Your fans had some pretty strong.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" I almost got through this whole thing, but it didn't happen. So Lebby doubles down, then triples down, then the AD releases a statement, then Venables says that, then the very next day, does Jeff Lebby quadruple down?
Did you reach out to Art Briles and invite him
wrong one. Here we go.
I suspect, some of you might have questions regarding my father-in-law, his presence at the game Saturday night. Want to go ahead and address this. Got a statement for you guys that I'll read. One, just want everybody to understand my father-in-law, his presence on the field after the game the other night is something that created a distraction, and I apologize for that. That was not the intent at all. The intent was just to celebrate with my family. Do want to correct some reports that claimed he had a sideline pass. There was not a sideline pass given out. He was actually on the field only when other families were down there and were present. Joe Castiglione, Coach Venables, both have addressed concerns with me, have talked to me about it, and again can make sure that everybody understands that this is something that will not come up again. So with that, wanted to start with that and then get into questions.
And he didn't field any questions on that. And so basically what was said by Venables and the athletic director was back off or you're gone. Clearly. And I don't think they would have had any issue if he quadrupled down on all of that. That's my father-in-law, that's grandpappy, and, all that.
He makes the best pancakes on Sunday for those little grandkids.
The bottom line is you can't mess around with Art Briles anywhere.
Definitely don't give him an OU quarter zip.
Yeah, part of me says it feels like the world we live in with performative outrage and so forth. Like, can he go to a football game ever again in his life? Yes. Okay, can he go watch his son coach? Yes. Where it gets weird is photo ops in school gear on the field, probably, right?
If he would have been at TCU,
like if
at
you're
the
just
Colorado
if
game,
you're just in row 10 and you got tickets on StubHub or something, you're fine.
Like the TCU hate for Art Briles. Beyond what happened at Baylor, just as a rivalry, they flip and hate his guts. Imagine him with a TCU quarter zip like, hey, son, great game. Woo!
Yeah.
Go Frogs. Give him the frog salute. You can't do it.
No.
Forever and ever.
You really can't, and I kind of think that avatar picture is fireable.
I know. Well, that was it.
No try. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't keep on.
That's a put on, huh? Oh, that's pretty good.
I had you there, didn't I?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. It's fun. I'm named Yoda, but I don't talk like that stupid Muppet from the Star Wars. I guess I just like to play with people's expectations,
Sure.
Okay. Well, I guess your owner was a big Star Wars fan then.
No. Actually, George, it's interesting to bring that up. I'm not even actually named after the Star Wars character. I'm named after a different Yoda.
There's another Yoda?
Yeah. It's a famous Swedish mountain caller, I think, or something.
Who's that?
His name's Yoda, and his last name's like Leahy-Hoo, I think. I'm not sure. I would have told me the story, but I was only half paying attention.
All right, well, take us through the capture of the crab walker.
Craig, it's something I don't like to talk about too much because, it's just my job. But I'll talk at length about it. It wasn't that hard, to be quite honest with you. Just all my years of training really kicked in, and that's what it's about. When you get in these situations, your training kicks in, and you don't have to think. That's why you do all the training. So I was trained to track Brazilian watermelon dung. Spent 20 years doing that.
Okay.
And it turns out my skill set fit perfectly here. I mean, perfectly. Because this guy, he was surviving from some wild watermelon some guy was growing out there, and he broke into this watermelon patch, and he had been eating that. So, of course, his dung was filled with watermelon seeds.
Mm-hmm.
He was eating them. He didn't know that, they'll grow in your stomach if you eat the seeds.
That's true.
But so I just followed the trail, and that was easy. And this guy's getting all this attention, like, oh, it looks so great that he was on the lam for 2 weeks. Isn't he a brilliant escape artist? Oh, he crab walked up a wall. Oh, let's give him attention. But look. I sniffed out his dirty butt from 100 miles away. Who's celebrating me? Come on.
Well, we are. That's why we had John.
You guys are like the only ones, thanks to the sports radio station out of Houston or wherever.
Dallas.
But it was when I got up on him there, he was sleeping in like this thicket of Johnson grass. It was real tall. It had gone to seed, and he was just laying there, and he was laying on that gun. He had stolen a gun. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, we heard about that.
But he had stolen a gun like several days before and everything, planning on carjacking people. But he was laying on top of it. He was asleep, laying on his stomach, and I get up on him. I see him. I knew it was him right away. He's wearing that stupid Eagles jersey.
Yeah.
And he's wearing Eagles pants.
And now we didn't hear that he was wearing green pants.
No. It was like they were jeans, but they had Joe Walsh patches on the back pockets. Anyway.
Oh, those Eagles. Okay.
But yeah. So I noticed he's sleeping, and he's sitting there cutting them when he's sleeping and everything. And smell the water.
Really?
Yeah. It's unbelievable. But I grab him by the junk.
Oh.
I mean, so I knew this guy's not going to get away, right? So I grab him by the junk and just clamp down with that, 2,000 PSI pressure that I got in that Belgian Malinois
right.
jaw of mine. But I think I got like a 3-inch tear in the scrot or something like that. I forget what the stats are.
Wow.
But yeah, I was pretty proud of that. But then, of course, he wakes up and we start wrestling for the gun. But I got off 2 shots at him.
Got off 2 shots.
Yeah, got off 2 shots. Parted that stupid hair of his with the second shot, but finally subdue him. And I immediately grab my lapel radio and call in the other offices.
Oh, so you went in by yourself? I thought it was like a whole group.
This was done totally by myself. They hadn't found him yet.
Oh, wow.
You have a radio?
I was just out on patrol, and I found him all by my lonesome there, but. So I call in the other guys on the radio, and the other officers show up, and we arrest him and, zip tie him and all that kind of stuff. But and he starts immediately going, we tell him, you have the right to remain silent and all those stupid Miranda rights. We're giving these criminals way too many rights. You know what I'm saying? But the right to remain silent, he doesn't even take that right. He starts immediately going off about how great he thinks Jalen Hurts is.
Started talking trash.
Oh, man, he started talking about it. Says, Jalen Hurts is the best ever. You guys are going to see it this season. He's going to be an incredible year. Super Bowl round. He did mention in passing, though, that he thought Jalen runs it a little bit too much. But anyway.
Okay.
Boy, he had all sorts of hot takes.
Meanwhile, I'm like, dude, look, you're getting arrested. Maybe cut back on the Eagles talk a little bit,
Right.
Did you see how bloody his face was, too, by the way, when he was captured?
Yeah, did you do that?
Yeah, that was all scrot blood. That was all scrot blood.
How'd he get up there?
Doing the wrestling. Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable. And then these freaking law enforcement's up here. They cut me out of the pics. They're all posing with them. You just see me sometimes.
Right. I was going to say, I didn't
see
you in the picture.
It's unbelievable. These guys, they busted my balls. I know what they're doing.
What are you going to do?
Same way it always is. Hey, so what's the deal, man? So DeSantis, he just can't make a run at Trump. It just seems like
all right.
Yoda, we're going to let you go, but we appreciate the time. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks a lot, George. I appreciate it. I love you. I love your show down there in Houston. I get down there every once in a while.
But okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, we'll see you. There goes Yoda, the police dog. 8:48 on the ticket.
It could be information to change your life forever. Or the Something You Should Know podcast could just be something interesting.
My guest is Kim Zachman. She is author of the book There's No Cream in Cream Soda. I don't think I've ever really known the story of why they're called hot dogs.
There is so many legends about the name of the hot dog. When the immigrants came over and they brought all of their sausages, they also brought their dachshunds. It really is because they kind of look like dachshunds.
Something you should know wherever you listen.
At Casper, we Plus get AirScape technology to help you wake up refreshed. Get your best rest at our best price with the new Casper mattress. Shop online or visit a Casper sleep shop near you today. Casper, for the love of sleep. Exclusions apply. See casper.com/promo.
And now, it's time to meet the college football blowhard. Here he is, blowing hard about college football. Corby.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sponsor?
Coors Light, the official beer of Saturday morning.
Yeah, we're here at Myers Garden, so come visit us. As always, a wonderful time out here. Thank you guys for showing up. It's a beautiful, beautiful day to be kind of hanging out with the barn doors open here off Henderson and Belmont. And don't forget, we have Cowboy tickets, courtesy of Miller Lite, that will get you a pair. So come on out and sign up and, have yourself a burra. So this week's schedule sucks, Bob. No lie.
It's so bad.
And it's kind of part of college football. You know, we're in late November, or I can't even remember the week, where the SEC takes the week off and they, play the Ulemans of the world and things like that. I've never understood that. I think that's going to go away. here in the near future.
Hate to hear it.
Yeah, right. A real bummer to take that off. Thanks, Garrett. But speaking of the SEC, it is kind of weird. This is a weird year, and this may be for the first time in a really, really long time, one of the true down years of the conference. Now, it's early. I understand that, and they're going to beat up on each other. But based on just non-conference play so far, their record against the top 25 is 1-4 so far. And against Power 5 competition, it's 2-6, which is very, very rare. Very rare. For comparison, the Big 12's at 4-5. The ACC and Big 10 are 4-4. And the Pac-12 is 6-3. And the Pac-12 at one point was undefeated rolling into after week one. But really, it's strange from a...
When's a good time to consider these big enough samples?
I don't know. And the thing is, you play these teams, and this is the crap part about college football, is you'll play 2 or 3 games against whoever, a decent non-conference game, a good non-conference game, and then a crappy non-conference game. That's the template for nearly everyone.
Yeah.
You play a Rice, let's consider that mid-level even. Then you'll play a step down from that, whatever that is, maybe an FCS opponent, and then you'll try to play somebody good. And then you'll play your conference. And so really all you have to base this on is 3 weeks out of the year until you get to late in the year in bowl season. But the top-heavy nature of the SEC losses is what's really, really rare here. And, of course, it starts with Alabama. The 34 points, that's the most they've surrendered in a non-conference game since 2003. Now, again, Texas is good, but guess what? Alabama's played a ton of teams that are good in their non-conference schedule. That's a feather in Texas cap, but it also does speak to this just may be one of those years. And as we said before, how many games did Bryce Young win on his own in the last couple of years?
A fair number.
I mean, a bunch. That Auburn game comes front and center immediately. And if you don't have, and look, this isn't just a Alabama issue. If you don't have elite quarterback play, odds are you're going to lose a couple of games.
And that's really what's at work here, right?
Yeah.
Is that the SEC doesn't really have any tip-top quarterbacks again, right?
No. Nobody that you would say, oh, my God. I mean, the Florida State quarterback, I can't remember, Travis
something.
Yeah.
Or
Mahia?
Not Mahia.
Be cooler if it was.
Obviously, Caleb Williams. Quinn played great the other day. But, there are no SEC quarterbacks that you're like, whoa, this is unbelievable play you're getting right now. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, is he the guy? Here's a weird stat from Alabama, too, to speak to what's been going on in the last handful of games from them.
Jordan Travis. Sorry.
Yeah. They had over 90 yards in penalties. That's the 6th time in 15 games that they've had 90 or more penalty yards. They're 3-3 in those games. That's weird. That's just odd. LSU, they're at the top of the SEC, obviously. They gave up 45 to the aforementioned Florida State. That's the most LSU's allowed in a regular season non-conference game since 1991 when Texas A&M went in there and scored that many on the Tigers while they were still in the Southwest Conference. They gave up huge chunk plays in that game. A&M. A&M allowed 8.4 yards per play.
Goodness.
8.4 yards per play. And again, as we talked about, this is a team that is recruited so well all over the place, especially on the defensive front.
Especially.
Where it's just, I can't even begin to tell you how many 5-stars they have up front. And they just keep getting them. The checks just keep being cut, and people are signing up.
Well, and to be fair, they are going to the NFL, and they are good players. And so it's not like we misevaluated the talent level down there. It's just, I mean, dude, that giant Calais Campbell looking, is it Shamar Stevens or Shamar Turner? Whichever one is like 6'6", 295. That dude is going to make so much money.
Yes.
He is so scary. But yet, they get no pressure on the quarterback as a unit, and the secret's out on DJ Durkin and Mike Elko. Let's be honest.
Yeah, pretty much. Florida, part of the top of the heap of the SEC. We're not mentioning Georgia for obvious reasons.
Right.
But Georgia had scored 11 points against Utah and had 13 yards rushing.
Wow.
They can't run the ball. They literally can't run the ball. Florida has 3 games where they don't even have a 30-yard play from scrimmage. It's terrible, and that's why they got Billy Napier in there is to be able to kind of explode offensively.
Yeah.
And I don't need to mention the South Carolinas and Vanderbilts of the world who've all, kind of shown their ass in the SEC. This just could be, and it happens. It happens all the time. This thing is cyclical. And to think that the beast that is the SEC is never going to end, the money's always going to be there TV-wise. There's no doubt about it. But Nick Saban is going to leave. There's going to be a time when Nick Saban's not there and to say, well, we'll get the next one. No, you won't. That doesn't. Will you get a great coach? You think you will, but you don't know. You don't know. I mean, A&M has got what they thought was the right coach, what seems like every single time, and it hasn't worked out. Texas has seemed like they've got the right coach every time, and it hasn't worked out. You go through these stretches where you just don't know. And so,
do you think an entire conference can do that?
I don't know.
With Texas and Oklahoma joining?
No, I don't. No.
It seems like they have such a monopoly.
They do
on so many power schools that somebody's liable to be.
They'll rise up.
This
just may be the outlier year. This may be the year where.
And if it is, Georgia may still win a national title, so no one will care in the annals of history.
They won't bat an eye whatsoever. But as far as the competition goes, I do think you have to factor in these things when you do lose this bat and you show tendencies that you've not showed for decades and decades. It does need to play in to the finality of the season.
Yeah.
But it won't, because they'll eat their young, and in the end, it will still be, the SEC will be thought of as the best conference. And for all intents and purposes, it still will be. It's just a weird start to the college football season for a conference that has shown 0 warts for what seems like an eternity.
Yeah, it's odd, and then you add it to the fact that most of the big schools, and I guess there's not a very long list, but the top quarterbacks aren't at the Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia scene that you normally see. Obviously, Caleb's at USC, and that doesn't hurt, but it's a unique college football year.
Yeah, so far.
And I've always loved Pearl Jam, and I suppose that makes me a generic dude our age. But
you know that their name means semen.
I reference them as Mookie Blaylock more, Dave.
Yeah, we tend to think of him that way, Dave.
Okay.
As the former Sooner.
But, I've just never crossed paths. I was always thinking I need to go see them. When bands come through town, you're like, no, yes, no. And it's just never been Pearl Jam. For whatever reason, I've lived in the 5th biggest city in this country since 1998. And I think they've come to town maybe once since I've been here.
I was going to ask you, how many times have they even been to the DFW area?
There was a big gap between 2002 and 2013, 10 years. They skipped coming to Texas.
Yeah, and, sports and stuff and out of town and who knows, so maybe I missed. But they just, unlike a lot of bands we like, unlike, when U2 comes to town, who I've seen maybe 10 times and probably 8 of them in North Texas, and Foo Fighters, and just whoever rolls through, you catch them, and it's something you would do every couple years. You'd love to give that band your money, and I've just never seen Pearl Jam, despite having, in my opinion, a relationship with them, through my speakers since I was a sophomore in college when 10 came out.
Yeah, and, and I've always said, I know I've said this to you a million times too, it's one thing to listen to them, it's another thing to see them, and they're one of those bands. And it's really difficult to tell people that, whatever.
No, but you're not alone. Like, everybody says that a big part of the Pearl Jam experience is seeing them live. And honestly, I know that because my favorite Pearl Jam albums are usually their live albums. And I love the fact that they're so cool about their live material and their Sirius channel and just all the stuff that they don't seem to be hung up on people recording their stuff.
No.
They want you to kind of get the vibe of what their show is like, even if you can never go.
And their shows are an incredibly communal experience because their fans are so into them. Like you mentioned, their channel on Sirius. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that Springsteen and the Grateful Dead and all these different bands have their own channel because it's the most passionate fan base. And their fan base is definitely belongs in that regard of being truly, truly over-the-top passionate about the live experience.
Yeah, so when I heard they were coming to town and to Dickies, I was so excited. They were going to play 2 shows last night and tomorrow night, and I was definitely going to get to one of them, and it turned out to be Wednesday night because we got a college run tomorrow. But it was
quick shout out
so anticipated.
Yeah, to my buddy Matt Orley, who I went to high school with, and
Matt
got us tickets, and we sat with him and his buddies and my buddy Gary Joe from college. And
so much fun,
dude! It was a great, a perfect crowd.
Yeah, and so I didn't fully know what to anticipate, and I didn't know what sort of set list we'd be looking at. And again,
never know.
I've been warned that hey, if you're looking for a band to play the exact same 20 songs at every stop on their tour, that's never going to be Pearl Jam. But you already knew that because that's why you like them, and of course I did. And
like I warned Bob, we went to lunch the other day, and I'm like, I almost felt bad. Like, I really hope you have a good experience because sometimes you just don't know. You may not hear the songs that you really want to hear.
Yeah.
Well, and you also have the curveball of the drummer having COVID.
Well,
we didn't know.
That's a big part of our story, Dave.
No one knew.
No one knew?
No. You knew that so Sunday night
and Eddie had the flu, but he pushed through.
Sunday night they were supposed to play in Indianapolis, and they canceled. And that is such a rarity. And it's such a money-making venture, these giant tours with these giant bands. It just doesn't happen very often. And all you heard from the Pearl Jam camp was, we have an illness. Yeah. And that's it. You didn't know anybody that had it or anything. And the minute the band came out,
right,
my wife goes, that's not Matt Cameron. And Matt Cameron's their drummer. And some guy with dark hair sat down, and Matt's a blonde-haired guy. And we're like, oh, he's the sick one.
Yeah, and honestly, it felt even the day of that it was a little touch and go on whether or not the show will happen. And I'm always reminded, and I love this about, and I forget who said it first, whether it was Mickey Mantle or Joe DiMaggio. I know Michael Jordan's had it attributed to him, but all these famous performers always say
Pearl Jam's the best.
That I want anybody who's seen me for the first time or only time to get what I'm all about, And so I think we had the double situation last night because I believe in my head, as everybody tries to tell you that their experience was the best one. In my head, I feel like Eddie and the fellas were giving it a little bit more last night. They played 27 songs. They played well over 2.5 hours, and they were fantastic. And I got the impression that they were overcompensating because they didn't have their drummer. And I think they wanted to everybody do a little bit more to make this a really special show.
Is he like a full-time understudy that travel, or how did they rope this guy in, and how did he learn 27 songs?
So Josh Klinghoffer was the drummer last night, and if you Google Josh Klinghoffer, you quickly realize that, first off, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He got in at 32. He was the Chili Peppers guitarist when John Frusciante left.
Okay.
When he was in timeout.
Yes, for whatever he was doing. So for a decade plus, he was the Chili Peppers guitar player. He has been helping out with Pearl Jam, trying to capture the live experience with their new album, which came out COVID. They had a big tour schedule right before COVID, and a lot of the stuff was a little bit more They needed more bodies to pull
right,
it off.
to fill it out.
And Josh, as the ultimate musician, was there trying to help fill it out. I don't think he was part of this tour at all. I think they flew him in yesterday specifically for this.
That's amazing.
I didn't even know he played drums. I'd never heard of him playing drums in my life. And there is this guy that plays 27 songs, and one time I think that they kind of laughed when he screwed up. One time.
Never any false starts or anything?
Nothing. Now, the other weird part was that at the beginning of the show, Eddie comes out and he's like, look, we weren't playing. This was not happening. He's like, so if you're up for a different show, you're in for a good time. And they're sitting down.
Yeah.
Everyone is sitting down. Eddie's sitting on his Texas Longhorn stool, which he takes with him on tour everywhere since the 90s. All the band members are sitting down, and they're playing slower, ballady type songs, which I kind of told Bob, I'm like, dude, this could be really cool. I thought the whole show, because Eddie's like, I got the flu.
Like they're going to do an unplugged show or something.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm like, well, this is going to be a really cool experience for a lot of people. And I think the fifth or sixth song, they're still sitting, all of them sitting, and they played Black.
Yeah.
And at that moment, Mike McCready, their guitar player, stands up, and Mike McCready did not sit down. He was like a caged animal.
That dude is insane.
Is he the dude that had Crohn's or has Crohn's?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, this was his show.
He's incredible.
This was literally the Mike McCready show. He gets his solo going for Black, and, I mean, the crowd suddenly rises and is like, holy crap, because the energy that comes off that stage typically is that, and it's that for 2.5 hours, and you didn't get that for the first 30 minutes, but you just got something different. And then the rest of the band stands, and then it was a full-on rock bonanza for 2 hours straight, where it was a full-on Pearl Jam show. And the kicker is, and I can't believe this, and I don't know if this is because of the drummer or what, every song was from the 90s.
Yeah.
Except for one song. That you'll never see that again in another Pearl Jam show the rest of your life.
Dave, I couldn't stop smiling because it was just everything from the 90s, and, you know, if you wait 30 years to see a band and they pretty much play those, and you're just like, this is incredible. I can't believe this. And your mind is taking you back to, you know what music does. It takes you back to those places. I couldn't stop smiling.
That's the way I was when I saw The Cure from the fifth row. I had a smile plastered on my face the whole time.
Yeah. It was incredible.
I turned to Bob, I don't even know at what point, probably 14 songs in, I'm like, do you understand what's going on right now? Like, you're getting the best set list. I've seen this band 20 times.
Yeah.
I couldn't come close to drawing up a set list like this. Not a chance in hell.
No, it was so good, and it just kept going and going, and then the encore, and I guess I didn't know Pearl Jam's take on encores, and
it's another set.
Well, yeah, it ended up being darn near like 45 more minutes, or maybe, I don't know if it got close to an hour, but it felt – they played 8 more songs. They played Bob O'Reilly, which I know is not the first time they've played it, but it was really cool and kind of a fun surprise. And I thought it was amazing. And, again, to go back to Eddie not feeling well and being down a drummer, it felt like they were saying, if this is the only time you ever see us, we need to impress you. And that was me. Dude, so impressed.
It was magical. It was so cool, too, because he took off his whatever shirt he had on to reveal that another shirt that he had on, and he was wearing a War Stick shirt. So our buddy Ben Jenkins, who runs War Stick with Jack White, has gotten to meet Eddie through the years, and they made this War Stick shirt for him in Seattle a couple of years ago. And Eddie comes down and breaks it out and is wearing it on stage. I couldn't believe. I'm like, dude, you're wearing the War Stick shirt.
Which I'm wearing.
It was so cool.
I would like to say I'm willing to wear that War Stick shirt if they have another one.
If Ben will make you one,
it's very nice.
It's really cool.
It's really big of you.
Well, I'm willing to do it, Dave. I just feel like I would like to also help War Stick achieve that.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it, and I'm also sorry that I'm going to miss Friday.
Well, man, it's again, seeing him for the first time in 94, I think, to now. So it's 30 years worth. The first time I saw him was in Denton at the Super Pit whenever they played on campus, and then saw him over at SMU and just going that through the years.
Have they played Starplex more than once?
I think only once.
Because
I could be wrong.
I was at the one, whatever it was, Edgefest or
no,
Lollapalooza.
Yeah, they played
it
it multiple times then. They played it by themselves once, I think, though.
Okay, I think I've seen them twice, but it's been forever.
Yeah, and did your wife have fun? I mean,
Oh,
she had to
yeah.
have gotten everything that she wanted out of that.
She was really, I mean, honestly, it's a funny story. I'll try to get to you tomorrow, but she wasn't totally familiar with who we were seeing. But by the end, she's a Pearl Jam fan now for life. And it's very funny how she consumes music, but we don't have time, as Ham is repeatedly telling us.
Well,
Godzilla again.
Did you get the communal feel? I mean, they flip on the lights.
Unbelievable.
The last 6 songs, it's just house lights. It's just the band. There's a screen back there, but it's nothing. It is 5 dudes. It's their instruments. It's the energy.
Yes.
It's the vibe. It's the communal bond. It is the appreciation of it all, of what the audience is doing for them. Man, it's.
If I don't see him again, I'll be sad. But I got this one.
You got that one.
That
and
was
you
awesome.
got one of the most special shows I swear they've ever played.
I loved it.
All right. Awesome stuff.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Mike Florio, who's coaching for their gigs this year, do you think?
Brandon Staley, the Chargers, has to be. The way that they ended the 2022 season. And I think Robert Kraft put everyone on notice, including Bill Belichick, that it could be over. And, Rich, every owner is thinking about the easy part is getting rid of the guy I have. The hard part is finding a guy who's as good or better.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Just get AirScape technology to help you wake up refreshed. Get your best rest at our best price with the new Casper mattress. Shop online or visit a Casper sleep shop near you today. Casper, for the love of sleep. Exclusions apply. See casper.com/promo.
All right, football. I'm ready. I know Saturday is not going to be great. There are very few Power 5 matchups. TCU, Houston.
Yeah, sell me on anything. I have to go, or I get to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to Stillwater because I was told the best game in college football this weekend was South Alabama at Oklahoma State.
Are you serious?
It's Parents' Weekend, and I'm delighted to see my young man.
That is a very quick Parents' Weekend. Like, they don't even let him get settled. He ain't even been there a month.
I think we're right. I think we're about, August 16th or 17th, so right at a month, yeah.
Let me ask you something about Parents' Weekend.
Go. Okay.
Have you been to each and every one that your kids have?
No.
Okay.
No, in fact, I think this might be the first one. Although Maddie confuses me because I think their Parents' Weekend is always – oh, I guess I have. The spring game is always on Parents' Weekend. They don't even do it in the fall.
They don't?
I don't think so, but then I'm confused because their sorority has a Parents' Weekend and the school has one, so I don't know.
I just wonder how beholden I'm going to be to all of this because I remember going to college and thinking, oh, God, parents are coming?
Yeah, well.
Like buy me a meal or whatever. But I think relationships and that, all of that's changed since I was there.
No, but
I was not dying to see him.
I did hear Mom expressly ask our young son, who is now on his own, that, look, if we're going to drive up there, are you going to be available?
Yeah.
At least to some extent. Are we going to see you? Because, when the Labor Day weekend when he came and visited, as did his sister, they slept at our house. But you clear the decks for all of these hallmark moments you're going to make,
right.
And you're just going to have the family back together, and who knows what we might do. Well, what we might do is basically be their hotel so that they can see their friends and stuff. We get it.
Right.
We get it. We've played our role.
Sure.
Now you pay tuition, and you provide a home for them to stay when they come back to Dallas.
Yeah.
But that's a long way of saying the college football schedule kind of stinky this weekend.
LSU, Mississippi State. I'm going to watch that tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. I'm also going to be flipping over to Kansas State, Mizzou.
Jeez.
As you have the border war there. Because I'm interested to see if Kansas State is for real or not.
They put that on the SEC network. They don't even care to put that on the Ocho.
I'm suddenly interested in Alabama and South Florida because Tyler Buckner, as you heard Ty say, is now the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide after 1 week. Now, granted, it was a pretty sketchy week.
That guy's not a good quarterback, Jalen Milroe. No disrespect.
Yeah, they saw what they needed to see.
I from my couch, got the distinct impression he does not see the secondary. So,
isn't it weird to think, though, how the super elite teams can get caught in a quarterback quandary? Because you just think that, well, they got like 8 of them. One of them's got to be elite. They all are. The pedigree for every one of those kids is like, oh my God, we've got X guy or whatever, and suddenly you have a year. They all go through it, where you're like, it's a weird in-between year where you've just come off greatness with, like with Bryce Young. You've got someone waiting in the wings, which they kind of don't, it sounds like.
Yeah, and
They're going with a Notre Dame transfer.
I realize this will get rejected out to half court because the number of 1-1s who have transferred is off the charts. If you want to say Baker, Kyler, Burrow, and Caleb, and there's
it's unreal.
So good quarterbacks do transfer and do play well at their new school. However, it definitely seems like there are a number of cases where if a guy is switching schools, it's because he did not reach his ceiling at school number 1 and is looking for a better opportunity, which often is seen as he can't play that well. And so I'm kind of shocked Alabama can't just put a sign out in its front yard and say, we want the best quarterback to be QB1 at Alabama this coming season, so apply within. And you would think that would do all sorts of business.
Yeah, our quarterback is going to the pros, so we need another one.
Yes, he's about to be the first pick in the draft. Would you like to replace him?
Right, and then subsequently be the first pick in the draft.
Yes.
At your choosing.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Well, it ain't there. And then Colorado State and Colorado is the night game on ESPN, which Boulder will be in a mushroom fog by 9 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I think
God.
I think I'll probably be back at a place to watch that one. I should be able to see that game at least.
Yeah, you will for sure. Wyoming, Texas. See if, Texas can keep it on the rails.
I heard there are bits being planned in Colorado where everyone shows up in sunglasses.
Well, Deion gave the entire team a brand new pair of sunglasses. So, yeah, it's probably going to look like, imagine being a Colorado student right now, like a sophomore after what you went through last year, or junior or senior, as being the worst team ever, and suddenly you're now the belle of the ball. How fun would that be to be a CU student right now?
It's unbelievable. Followell's in Madison, by the way. He sent me a photo this morning.
Who are they playing?
Georgia Southern at Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's just not a good college football weekend. And if I may say,
Tennessee, Florida. That's a decent night game.
Does Georgia Southern play many games north of the Mason-Dixon?
I don't have any idea why that
Probably
game
not.
exists. But
where are we?
If I was college football commissioner, like Joe Klatt has tried to name me a few times, we'd have to have a talk with the networks to make sure that we're not leaving week 3 kind of open from the I got to see this game no matter what window, because I don't see it at all.
Yeah, how is week 3 worse than week 1?
I don't know. It is weird.
Very weird.
So last night in the NFL, the hated Eagles beat the hated Vikings. No, we hate everyone.
There were very interesting things in there, that game.
Okay, help me out.
Most notably the backdoor cover that got Bob.
Yeah, and that's more of a me problem. But
you do have a problem.
It's just when betting favorites in the NFL is such a fool's errand. Whatever.
Was DeAndre Swift as good as the stats look?
He was pretty good. I wouldn't say knocked my socks off. I thought it was interesting the way the Vikings were defending the Eagles, and it was kind of rush 3 and make Jalen Hurts play quarterback, and the passing game never really got going, and I wonder if that's what people are going to do against the Eagles this year. That's kind of the question. That's what people do to Dak, is let's make him play quarterback and let's not blitz. Let's drop, and let's make the windows super small, and let's make guys get open.
But they still had 430 yards.
Yes.
So Dave and I were talking about this in the car because we were at the Tenacious D show last night, and we were looking at the stats on the way home going, well, it looks pretty thorough, but then woke up this morning and started hearing people say, well, it was kind of sketchy. It wasn't
impressive at all.
That's so weird.
No, it was a 4-turnover game from the Vikings, as I recall, including that touchdown and that weird rule about fumbling out of the end zone and all of that. And I found the Eagles pretty underwhelming, to be honest, and I do think they hit on a couple big plays. And, as the second half went on, the long pass to Devontae Smith to make it 27-7. But it wasn't a very impressive passing day. And A.J. Brown was mad because he wasn't getting the ball. And meanwhile, the Vikings can't run at all. And they were passing every down, which is great with their offensive line just thrown all over the place. And Justin Jefferson's amazing at football. So there's a quick description of the Thursday night game.
Well, I don't know what you're eyeballing for this weekend. I'm really interested. I want to watch Jordan Love play a full game.
Well, you can. I will tell you, though, they probably won't have Aaron Jones or Christian Watson.
I saw Aaron Jones is banged up.
So the noon window is one that seems to be lacking just a little bit as well. I don't know. I kind of like Atlanta there, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, look, I think the book's out on Green Bay until you kind of get a feel for what's going on in the first month. So, no, I don't. Des Ridder had all right, I guess. I don't know if you favor Atlanta. It's on the road.
I like Atlanta, but it's not because of Ridder. I just think they have a very 49ers-like approach to offense that, is a very, very talented running game behind a good offensive line. Honestly, in that early window, your best game is Baltimore at Cincinnati, I think. Maybe KC at Jacksonville, but they're both the AFC games.
Yeah, and Kansas City, there's no way they get off to an 0-2 start. You think that. They've been resting for a long, long time sitting on that disappointing loss, and Chris Jones is supposed to play, as is Travis Kelce. So,
Seems impossible.
It does, but, man, if you had KC starting the season off 0-2, here's your opportunity. You're not going to get a better one. They're playing a really good Jacksonville team, and, yeah, that's probably the best noon game. And then San Francisco, L.A., Chargers. No, that's the Rams.
That's the Rams.
Yeah, they're playing the Rams. Although the Rams had a nice win, and Stafford looked really good.
Don't the Rams own the 49ers record-wise?
Yeah,
or
which
is it the other way around? I think it's the Rams.
Weird.
Yeah. Sunday night is Miami, New England, and Monday night.
Did I tease that 8:55 is when we're going to talk about the new Cowboys offense, 8:55. And it's a tradition the morning after a Cowboys game, win or lose, we visit with the owner and general manager who joins us now, Jerry Jones. Good morning.
Guys. Good morning. I want to make it very clear that you're talking to real Jerry Jones and not the hologram Jerry Jones. Did y'all see that? I got a hologram out there.
Yes, we saw it. In fact, we've talked to hologram Jerry.
What'd you call it?
Hologram.
I thought it was pronounced hologram.
Hologram?
Because it hollers at you when you talk to it.
Maybe in Arkansas that's what they call it.
So we call it in Arkansas. Sure enough. Did you see that job of GM and I did with this thing?
Well, congratulations.
I was very impressed with myself. Last night. I got the former number 3 pick in the NFL draft and essentially only had to give up a Happy Meal for him. That was positive GM and I did during that offseason, getting us in the position to win.
Yeah.
I drafted that miniature Emmitt Smith and that little hobbit body of Deuce Vaughn. That was me, did it.
Yeah.
Serious GM. And in fact, after seeing my GM performance yesterday, I'm thinking that I need to put myself in the Ring of Honor before the end of this season. What do you think about that?
I'm kind of surprised you haven't done that yet.
Let's open them up, 888-787.
Hey, we're about to talk about this. What did you think of Mike McCarthy calling plays last night?
Craig, I was very happy about that. For the first time in about 5 years or so, we didn't have that puberty-ridden mind of 16-year-old Kellen Moore behind our offensive game plan. And I was very thankful that Mike McCarthy, a true adult, took over the job. And we don't have an offensive coordinator all distracted by boobs and Fortnite and whatever these teenage kids are into these days.
I don't think he was distracted by that.
And I have to say, I thought he did very well, and I thought the game went very well. And I just hope my upcoming sexual harassment trial goes as well as the game did last night.
Okay, yeah. We can keep it away from that and just talk football. Hey,
Let's do it.
No interceptions for Dak last night, too.
Very impressed with Dak. Very impressed. I'm thinking about getting a full leg tattoo of my own, detailing my own life of calling women liars. So,
jeez,
that may take up 2 legs and about half a torso, but may have to be under for a couple weeks to get that done. But,
oh man,
but yeah, our offense played well. Dak played well. We didn't even have to break out our favorite training camp party trick, Deuce Vaughn, until the fourth quarter because everything going so well.
It's just a party trick, I guess.
That's what I call them, our training camp party trick.
Well, it's really about the defense, though. And I guess at some point you're going to have to figure out that whole Micah Parsons contract thing.
I know. That defense is so good, and Micah just unbelievable. Yes, it is going to cost a lot of money to renew Micah's contract. And so I just want to say Cowboy fans might want to get ready for $50 hot dogs at the stadium on game day.
Pretty close to that now, aren't they?
Indeed.
Well, it's a hell of a start for your team, a 40-0 win. And, I mean, you're getting up there in age. Maybe this will actually be the year for you.
Well, I know. I mean, it's hard to believe so much has changed in the time that I've been GM and owner of the Cowboys, our Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. And it's hard to believe this, that this season is the first time in, I think, about 24 years that the NFC East won't have little Danny Snyder hanging around to make the rest of us all feel better about ourselves. But I think that this is our year. I think this is the year that old Jerry finally gets his own Super Bowl.
Okay.
Without Jimmy, no Jimmy at all in this one. But we're off to a positive start. We just got to take it one game at a time here.
Well, that's the way to do it.
That's right. But last night's game made me very happy, and I think that the only thing that could make me happier than last night's game would be seeing Skip Bayless trade places with Gil Brandt.
Oh my gosh, man, that's really dark, Jerry.
Moment of silence for Gil Brandt on 9/11.
Paul in
George.
Damn it, George.
Well, I thought we were going to calls. I thought you wanted to take some calls.
For us. Good morning.
All right, good morning. We'll see you. There goes Jera. It's 8:46 on the ticket.
Introducing Rich Valdez, America at Night, the podcast.
Welcome to the conversation, familia.
A perfect blend of news and entertainment, interviews and insights.
Eye-opening, nothing very surprising, but definitely eye-opening.
America's nighttime town hall whenever you want.
What else could it possibly mean?
Rich Valdez, America at Night.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Follow the podcast wherever you listen.
That's why we're bringing back the very first bed-in-a-box millions love at a price everyone will love. Meet the Casper, a mattress so comfortable it could only have one name. Enjoy 4 layers of cozy support for just $9.95. Plus, get AirScape technology to help you wake up refreshed. Get your best rest at our best price with the new Casper mattress. Shop online or visit a Casper sleep shop near you today. Casper, for the love of sleep. Exclusions apply. See casper.com/promo.
And time now for the observation deck with Gordo, brought to us by Tylock George, Laser Eye Care, and A1 Air.
And the following content is priced exactly right, as free to you, the P1. So, during the game, we got to see the Me Too survival crew. Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. That's what they build themselves as now.
I don't think they build themselves that way, no.
Yeah, they do. They do the whole speaking circuit and everything.
I don't think so.
And they get up there and do their Me Too tricks on a stage. But yes, so Tirico and Collinsworth, what do you think of them as a team?
Thumbs up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think Tirico's really solid, and I think Collinsworth is good.
I think individually they're both good. Just as a team, that I don't know. It just doesn't seem to have the chemistry.
I'm with you. I don't think they're as good together as Al and Chris were.
Oh, no, I don't either, but I think they're fine.
But is Al really that much better than Tirico?
No, Tirico's great.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. It's like the chemistry with Al and Collinsworth is somehow better.
Keep in mind,
Al's not as good as Tirico.
I watched a football game yesterday with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, so yeah, it seemed like one of the best broadcasts I've ever seen last night.
Oh, Jim!
And it's only their second year together, and Al and Chris were together for a long time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think they have amazing chemistry together, but I think they're fine.
Okay. I think that Tirico's, I don't know, he's built weird to me.
Okay.
Collinsworth is built like a Sneetch.
What's a Sneetch?
It's a Dr. Seuss character.
Oh.
They said that the Cowboys won 11 out of the last 12 matchups against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So was that one that the Giants won? Was that when Eli signed the wall, or was that way long ago?
Was that the one that Dak broke his leg in, or did the Cowboys win that game?
It was Dak's rookie year. Dak's first start against him, I think, is the last time they lost to the Giants, I believe.
So how long ago was it that Eli signed the wall?
That was back when they opened AT&T Stadium in 2009.
Jeez, is that long ago?
If it was Dak's rookie year.
The new stadium.
Yeah.
But it's 11 of the last 12. Is that what you said?
That's what I thought they said on the broadcast. Is that the Cowboys have won 11
because
of the last 12 matchups.
Because he would have played now 14 games against them, right? Or, I mean, the Cowboys.
Missed one
but the Cowboys would have played 14 against the Giants. And your stat is the Cowboys have won 11 of 12 against the Giants?
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard them say.
I'll have to look this up.
This is a game of telephone here. The 9/11 moment of silence certainly gave me flashbacks to that horrible tragedy.
Let's not focus on that this morning, on the anniversary of.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the horrible tragedy.
Paul in what? I know you.
Yeah, the moment of silence. I'm not so sure everyone in the stadium was all that silent. I was hearing some crowd noise.
Really?
Yeah. Like there were still some people who maybe weren't paying attention to the public address announcement of the
very
PA.
Possible.
And then you had some people. I need the hot dog. The hot dog goes to Crystal. And then we got the nachos down here. And what? Wait, what's going on? Silence now. Okay.
By the way, the one that the Giants won was in 2020. Not the one where Dak broke his leg, but the next one when the Cowboys went to New York with Andy Dalton as the quarterback.
Dak. Yeah.
Off.
Yeah, because Dak has won 11 straight. He lost both of his starts against the Giants his rookie year and hadn't lost to him since.
Yeah, Dak has just really figured out the Giants.
He's got them.
I always like it when people say things like that, as if there hasn't been a million changes since the beginning of this streak. Yeah, because Dak, isn't he the longest tenured quarterback playing for one team?
Yep.
Good
Currently
Lord.
in the NFL, now that Rodgers moved on to New York.
Mike McCarthy looked a little bored during the anthem. Didn't you think that was weird?
He was preoccupied. He was antsy about calling plays for the first time in a while.
We were taking a moment to honor the country. I think that's more important than play calling.
I think you looked reflective, not bored.
I don't think so. Look at it again.
Monkey butt.
I'm going to play. That's what he was thinking of. That powder that you can buy. Is that the name of the powder?
Yeah.
Monkey butt powder?
Yeah.
I think so.
And there's also another product called Boudreaux's butt paste. And then Craig uses a product called nut butter.
Yes, I do. BUTT''R.
So, idiocracy. What's happening to us?
So it looks like the product is anti-monkey butt.
There you go.
Anti-monkey butt, anti-friction powder with calamine.
Yeah, you don't want to be pro.
For guys.
Jerry loves it.
For guys.
It says
women's can't use it.
Sweat absorber and friction fighter.
Sweat absorber.
Friction fighter. Okay, so back on the anthem. Queen Latifah did the anthem, and I thought she did a fine job of it. You know, she's done the anthem before, and this one was a little bit more straightforward than the one that she previously did, like, I can't even remember how many years ago this was. 12 years ago or so. Do you remember this previous anthem she did? I'll play the audio for you.
that a Super Bowl or is it NBA All-Star Game or what is it?
For some reason I thought it was the Super Bowl. No, this is the Cowboys and Giants play, but in 2012. So it's got a different beat to it. It's got a groove to it.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, I really like it. There they are showing Garrett on the sideline smiling uncomfortably. So that was a long time ago. And then this was last night, and there was a weird moment during it where I don't know whether it was a video glitch that happened or whether she left out a lyric or the pre-recording of the anthem, because I think that's what they all do.
Yeah.
They all have to sing the anthem, and then they have to lip sync to what they've pre-recorded. But listen to this and tell me if you don't hear something weird.
Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gadly streaming.
Weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's like a glitch.
We're so gadly streaming.
It wasn't a glitch in the broadcast?
Well,
could have been, I guess.
It could have been, yes. But everyone seemed to see it.
Did her mouth not keep up with it?
They were on the sideline shot when it happened, so you couldn't see her. That would have been really uncomfortable if you could see her during that. And just like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, did y'all didn't notice that at the time?
I did, and I just thought it was some sort of either glitch at the stadium or if it was pre-recorded, some sort of glitch in the recording.
Secret admission, and this is only to be talked about in this room, and let's not share it with anyone else.
Okay, P1's turn the radio down for just a moment.
Queen Latifah has always been secretly hot to me.
Secretly hot?
I don't really think she needs you judging her hot meter. That's what I think.
So you're just all about women's appearances?
Apparently.
No.
That's all you're into.
No.
Gordon?
No, she's ugly. She's ugly. No, not that. No, she's pretty. Oh, gosh, I'm back in the same predicament. Oh, gosh.
Sounds like you need to get on that NBC team.
I know. I need to join Collinsworth and Tirico. Yeah, I don't know what it is about her, but every time I see her, I go, she's really pretty.
Hey, now.
You ever have people like that kind of have your number and you don't know?
Well, you
really
don't know
can't
what
figure
it
out?
is about her. Maybe it's because she's attractive?
Yeah, maybe she's pretty.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wait, I can't say that. I can't say that. She's not attractive. Oh, wait, I can't say that. I can't say that.
All right. The first NFL kick by that Cowboys kicker, what's his name?
Brandon Aubrey.
Freak Aubrey. Missed his extra point.
That was pretty wheels off.
That was really
the only wheels off moment of the night.
I was glad to see that he got better.
Yeah.
Because I always feel bad for people who go out there and fail on their first thing they do in the NFL, and I worry that it gets in their head.
The biggest problem at the end of last season, and that's what happens.
Yeah. How long was it into the game did they show Jerry?
Pretty early. They showed him before kick.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that part. I didn't see.
Hello.
7 minutes into the game. But if they showed him before the kick, they showed him before. So that...
Was that the shot with when Steven was sitting below him and took a drink, took a swig, and Jerry was tapping his hand nervously?
I don't know. It was raining.
Yeah, it was raining the whole game.
It got really bad. I loved seeing all that weather.
I did too.
That was great.
I think they showed Jerry right at kickoff or right after.
And he was tapping his hand, like palsy hand, or like nervously
But the
drumming?
hand tapping one could have also been when you saw him for the first time. That may have been the first time.
I'm not sure that Stephon Gilmore was an interception there in the first quarter.
It was close.
Not that it mattered, but
you know
they just kind of didn't really review it on the broadcast too much.
I'm with you. I thought it hit the ground.
I thought it hit the ground,
and everybody
too.
acted like it didn't, so I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of Emperor's New Clothes, I guess. We all got to pretend like it was a real interception, but I don't think so. I'm sorry. And I don't mean the following in any negative way whatsoever. Okay?
Okay.
And I mean no offense.
Someone's about to get ripped.
No disrespect.
But Texas Coast offense is one of the stupidest terms I've ever heard in my life.
What are you going to do? It's the West
Something
Coast offense.
else.
It's a Texas twist on the West Coast offense.
Texas Coast offense.
We have a coast.
Why don't they just call? Yes, but we're not on it.
Well, it's the closest one to us.
That's so dumb. You know it's dumb. Deep in your belly,
fine.
you know it's dumb.
It's fine.
Just call it the Texas offense or the Trinity offense. Something else.
Okay.
Don't go with Texas Coast offense.
The Trinity Shoreline? Is that what you want?
Okay, was it developed in Houston? That's at least closer to the coast.
Why not the Texas Toast offense?
There you go.
Okay.
If you got to keep the rhyming scheme, fine.
Other teams are toast trying to defend it.
I like that.
Oh,
Texas
so
Toast.
dumb.
And I like
Texas
Texas
Coast
Toast,
offense. That sounds like it came from Mike McCarthy's head. Is he the one who made up the term?
I think Dak is the first one to say it.
Okay, well then Dak is stupid.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's your official HSO this morning.
Okay, speaking of, were you guys aware of the under general anesthesia for 11 hours story?
The general anesthesia thing just came out, but I was aware of I had that written down like 4 months ago to talk about it. We never did. The big leg tattoo.
Yeah, the story about the anesthesia just came out Saturday, I think.
Yeah. Or Friday,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, the tattoo is, okay, it's whatever. People get tattoos. No big deal. But going under general anesthesia for it, for not just 1 hour, you're under for 11 hours?
I thought it was borderline shocking that a pro athlete.
Yes.
Your body is everything, and you're supposed to avoid being under general anesthesia as much as possible because it has a cumulative effect negatively, and he's already had a bunch of surgeries. To put yourself through that for 11 hours was shocking to me.
I know.
And is that normal practice for big tattoos?
I'd never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it either, but I'm not a big tattoo guy,
If
so
you're
I don't
going to
know.
go with the big tattoo, I think it's a thing now.
So these guys that are getting basically sleeves, they commonly go under
I don't know
general
how
anesthesia.
common it is, but I think it is done. Yeah.
Gosh, that was just kind of shocking to me. And I'm sure I sound like an idiot because our tattoo P1s, they know all this stuff and it may be no big deal. But it did cause a response from me when they said that. And I was looking around going, why aren't they reacting more to this? Like, no one on that crew is going to bring up the fact that, you got to wonder. I mean, going under for 11 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
Just
And
at
they
least
didn't
throw a bone
know.
to that point.
The Cowboy front office didn't know either.
Wait, what?
They didn't know he was doing it until afterwards.
They didn't?
No. And I guess McCarthy saw him the next day or the couple days after that, and he's like, what the heck happened to your leg? Because it was swollen.
So there's nothing in Dak's contract that he has to. And I believe that. Look, the guy's got to balance his life with his job, and that's a tough thing for all these high-profile athletes to do. Because, it's your life. You want to go skiing in your 20s, but you also play for a team that's invested a lot of money in you, and you have to somehow calculate all that together. But I figured at least they would be in consultation with their team when they make those decisions and say, hey, look, I'm going to do this. As per my contract, I have to make you aware of it or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know in a lot of contracts, they have provisions about, they term it like dangerous behavior or something like that. Like, and I don't even know how they word it exactly about motorcycles and all that stuff. But yeah.
But
the
now
tattoo, maybe that's a new thing. And by the way, if you're going to go under, you need to let us know.
Yeah, in the day and age when we have quarterbacks are 25% of a team's salary cap room these days, and you can go under for half a day and don't even have to tell the team.
If you have a friend who has surgery and they tell you that they were under for 6 hours, you say,
You
"Oh
go,
my
wow,
God,
wow,
heart
6
surgery?
hours? What do you open heart surgery?"
Yeah,
and this Dak was under for I bet you he wasn't under that long for his stupid ankle surgery.
No way.
It's never really been called a stupid ankle surgery.
You almost got it. It's a cramp. Yeah, the cramp.
So this morning your HSO is Dak is stupid and his ankle surgery was stupid.
No. His ankle surgery was stupid. But Dak is only stupid, not for the tattoo, but for going with Mike McCarthy's idea of Texas Coast Toast offense. So there's some free observations for you.
All right, Gordo, thank you.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show. Guest Brandon Fugel.
Now, Skinwalker Ranch is the most Googled location in the entire world.
For whatever reason, we're seeing the highest level of UFO sightings and paranormal activity. And this has been going on for decades, if not millennia. And we're finally bringing it to the public's attention.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
If you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP, consider that CPAPs were invented in 1980. Do you even remember 1980? Everyone's house had one telephone. There were like 4 TV channels. Come on. You played video games in arcades and watched movies in theaters. GPS was a folded map and a helpful gas station attendant. And social media was inviting the neighbors to come look at your vacation pictures. A lot has changed since 1980. Now, for people who struggle with CPAP, there's Inspire. Inspire is an implanted device that treats...
Right, really good stuff. I like his features.
Yeah, he's better than David Moore.
I'm not here to say that. I don't want to pit those two fine writers against each other.
They're allies.
But it's interesting to see what sort of stories he uncovers when he dips into the backstory of a particular player. So, like I said, I didn't know anything about Wanye Thomas when camp started. I guess he spent last year on the practice squad, but there are those who get to know the practice squad, and believe it or not, I actually have limitations. And when we get to the practice squad, I hope those guys can find their way into the NFL, but I just can't. Just too many names. So Wanye got here in 22. He was undrafted from Georgia Tech, and worked hard last year, but I guess never got the call up, and made his debut last night. So on August 29th, Michael Gelkin published a story about his background. And I started reading it, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. So basically, when he was 4 years old, Wanye was playing with his older sister when I guess the mother runs into the bedroom and grabs her kids and gets them out of there because Dad just set the house on fire.
Oh, dear.
And he set the house on fire.
On purpose, not like your wife.
On purpose. Lest we focus on the story at hand. According to witnesses, the neighbors gave a sworn testimony that his dad slashed his family vehicle's tires with a large knife that morning, and then a deputy reported observing him pouring lighter fluid on flames inside the house. He was then arrested on charges that included attempted felony murder and arson to a dwelling, and it's something that Wanye says he thinks about every single day. I believe... Now,
does he remember this?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. And one of the reasons he remembers it, according to the story, is that now mother, Stephanie, and her children, 4 at the time, had nowhere to go after Dad got arrested for trying to basically kill his everyone? Family. And they were provided by the Red Cross a $250 voucher and a 3-night stay at a motel in Destin, Florida.
Oh, that's nice.
So they stayed for 3 nights.
30A.
Right on 30A, no doubt. Probably had nice bicycles with baskets and everything. Right. But the 3 days expired, and they had nowhere to go. So, mother and children in the family vehicle, which apparently there was either another one or they got the tires fixed, maybe with the $250, I don't know. But they frequent Florida rest stops and smushed together in the car, and that's where they made their short-term residence for a period of time until they could secure a housing with no furniture. And dinner often consisted of canned food, canned ravioli, and since there was no pot in the kitchen, the mother would open a can and then remove its label and put it directly on the stove until the sauce bubbles, and that's how they would all eat.
Wow.
And it's a really cool story of a mother figuring things out and figuring out how to provide for her kiddos. But it's also something that kind of fuels their existence on a day-to-day basis, and therefore to see the family root for Wanye to make it into the NFL where he could make $750,000 as a Cowboy this year on a rookie minimum undrafted free agent salary. He's very excited about the ability to sort of help provide for mom now.
Where did he end up going to college?
Georgia Tech. And the story does leave some questions unanswered. For instance,
like where's Dad now?
The whereabouts of Dad, any sort of relationship if there is one. I don't know those things, and I'd love to visit with Michael about his homework and researching the story. But I just read that, and I'm like, they're just guys out there running around with numbers on and helmets on, and you don't know the backstories. And sometimes you dive in, and you're like, dang, do you know what this means to this guy to play in his first NFL game last night, and then, in many ways, to kind of be the hero of it? He made several plays, but that blocked field goal,
that's it.
That's like the pinnacle of your life.
That's the play.
That's the moment, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know where it goes from here, but with the backstory now kind of known about what this dude's dealing with and what inspires him. He's 23 now, so he's still just a baby in terms of his football career. But that was only 19 years ago that his dad tried to, I think, kill the whole family by starting their house on fire.
Yeah.
Why they playing in the back bedroom?
Is he still in jail? You know?
Again, I have questions.
Yeah, a lot.
But just think about that.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'll tell the Marquise.
September of 2004, sorry.
I'll tell the Marquise Bell story maybe at 5:15 when we get into more of the defensive side of the ball, because it's amazing, too. And Marquise Bell, I mean, that guy was – I'm still getting used to numbers.
Yeah.
You know, wearing whatever you want and nothing makes sense anymore as far as position groups go. But I am thrown off by the fact that your middle linebacker is number 14.
It is weird.
It's very weird, dude.
Yeah, and in some cases they're changing numbers every season, or it's just it's to us old timers, I guess. The sanctity of the NFL uniform number is dead and gone, and therefore it's now the wild frontier of wear whatever you want. Is it Jaron Kearse running in one now?
Yeah,
yeah.
He looks good in it too. But yeah, his story, Bell's story. I mean, the dude had like 8 solo tackles last night, was all over the field, and that's a guy that, as I'll tell you, really had no business even making it to the NFL.
Movies, TV shows, books, podcasts, and more. It's what women binge with Melissa Joan Hart and her friend Amanda Lee.
Talking about the SAG strike.
A large portion of SAG lives on their residuals. When I did Nickelodeon, I, since 1993, haven't seen a dime on Clarissa. Right. And they want me to come promote it when it launches on Paramount Plus or it's back on Nickelodeon. And it's like, I would love to, but they won't pay me. So I'm like...
And watched movies in theaters. GPS was a folded map and a helpful gas station attendant. And social media was inviting the neighbors to come look at your vacation pictures. A lot has changed since 1980. Now, for people who struggle with CPAP, there's Inspire. Inspire is an implanted device that treats sleep apnea inside your body at the click of a remote. It's the only FDA-approved sleep apnea treatment of its kind. While you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and resting comfortably. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Mike Florio, who's coaching for their gigs this year, do you think?
Brandon Staley, the Chargers, has to be. The way that they ended the 2022 season. And I think Robert Kraft put everyone on notice, including Bill Belichick, that it could be over. And Rich, every owner is thinking about the easy part is getting rid of the guy I have. The hard part is finding a guy who's as good or better.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
So every Monday we do this where we gather up a bunch of audio and play it for you throughout the day. It's not just Cowboy audio. I don't want to bore you with that crap. Right?
Jeez.
No, I'm joking. It was a fun game last night. They ran out of stuff, though, pretty quickly. And you feel bad for, like, the first primetime game that everybody's just, like, all geared up for and locked in for, and it turns into just a joke 17 minutes into it.
Yeah, all my rowdy friends had come over, and we were pretty bored.
Yeah, I know. So you probably just went in there and went to bed. So I found this to be incredibly funny. So like everybody else, I'm locked into the NFL and my Sunday ticket, which we'll do a segment on that tomorrow, the next day. Anxious to hear about Bob and his YouTube TV experience. But you have one full off season to prep yourself to get ready for your first shot at glory, which is what the Fox NFL Sunday set was doing. And as halftime rolled around for the noon games, it's Terry Bradshaw's time to shine. And man, that guy, he has been waiting. He is ready to unleash hell on these highlights. The first words that come out of his mouth right here.
Welcome to the Verizon Halftime Show. TV, Carolina, Atlanta.
All right, let's go. Bryce Young, the first overall pick in this year's draft out of Alabama. Watches the second-year quarterback, Ritter, finding Bijan Robinson, the rookie, #1 pick from the University of Texas on a screen pass, 10-7. Carolina on top of Alabama. Well, I should say Alabama, Bryce Young, Alabama.
There he hooks up with Hayden Hurst for the score now. As you said, 10-7 Carolina.
Like, he gets cut off by Kurt. The first time he's doing a game.
He went and got the ball.
Kurt's trying to bail him out.
Because he's
holding out his hand for the ball.
He starts to go on a soliloquy on, well, it should have been Alabama, but anyway, Alabama. And Kurt's just like, dude, it's 10-7. Can we move on?
On top of Alabama. Well, I should say Alabama, Bryce Young, Alabama.
There he hooks up with Hayden Hurst for the score now. As you said, 10-7 Carolina with the lead.
That is so embarrassing.
Let's get back on the horse here, Terry.
Like, it's real easy, Terry. You just say who caught the ball, the score.
I mean,
That's
seriously, it is not. They have everything written for you. It's not like Terry is cobbling together the script for his own freaking, oh, I got this, guys. Let me write my own stuff. There's no way. It's sitting right in front of him. And then within 30 seconds.
Excellent day by the second-year quarterback, 2016 Washington with new ownership over the Carolina of the Panthers. Anthony Richardson, 4th pick in the draft this year for the for the Colts at quarterback. Watches last year's guy, Anthony Richardson, but that's a handoff to ETN as he takes it 26 yards. Oh, my God. Jaguars, dude, I know. I got it. I'm so proud of myself. Jaguars 31-21 over the Indianapolis Colts. Now, where did that highlight? Those highlights were all over the place. Where did that come from?
Whoa.
I know where they came from. You're terrible at your job. You're like the team mascot. You really have not much going on these days.
He's had a lot of health problems. Let's give him a little bit of slack.
This would be like putting Corso in charge of halftime highlights.
It kind of is. Which, someone please explain to me how they can justify running Lee Corso out there.
Yeah, the Corso thing, they need to just do a pre-recorded package with him.
Not tonight,
They can't put him on set anymore.
I don't get it. And you know what? It's elder abuse. It is. It's sad.
But isn't it kind of born in the idea that nobody wants to go get the ball? Like, at some point, you got to go out to the mound and you got to hold out your hand and ask for the ball.
Yeah.
And I think in many of these cases, no executive wants to do that, so we'll just run it back as long as he wants to.
Yeah, maybe the producer doesn't want to be accused of ageism
That's right.
And have a suit brought against the network because Corso or Bradshaw still want to do the job.
Look, here's the deal.
Oh.
And now.
I'm 53. I'm right on the edge of being too old to do this job.
Some might argue you passed that a while ago.
Exactly, yes. And so for Bradshaw and Corso and those guys, you just be, I don't know. I guess just let them do what they want. Okay,
yeah,
so,
but maybe find their strengths, and maybe the fast-moving highlights aren't necessarily in the wheelhouse of all involved.
Well, it's just reading, though.
Well,
reading.
Jubb has been on the warpath
for
against
years.
TB for decades.
Yeah.
I am
decades.
I am a huge proponent of the Terry Bradshaw comedy show, but I just think, you just got to look for how to best apply.
Right. Yeah, let's let Kurt just do the highlights.
Did you find it weird last night whenever they threw it down to the sideline and What's-Her-Butt was talking about the Dak tattoo? And
What's-Her-Butt?
Yeah, what's her name? Smiley Jesus? Or
No, it's Melissa Stark. That's Smiley Jesus.
Smiley Jesus.
That's right. So
not What's-Her-Face lesbian.
Good stuff, Corby.
That's right. That was your name for Ellen. What's-Her-Face lesbian. Anyway, I found this odd when because the tattoo is like some sort of homage to his entire life.
Yeah.
It goes through the stages of his life, and
he commemorates his mom, his brother, his hometown.
Right.
Duck.
Was this a weird way, though, to say things about the brother?
Dallas starts it on the ground. Dowdle there. We go down to Melissa again.
Mike, you might have heard that Dak got a massive tattoo on his right leg this offseason. He went under anesthesia for nearly 11 hours. He said, I know, people think it's crazy, but it's essentially his life story, including the trailer park he grew up in, Pine Creek Estates in Louisiana, a moose, the nickname for his brother Jace, who died by suicide, and his late mother Peggy. He told her one day he would get a Pegasus.
Who died by suicide?
That's the more PC way of saying committed suicide, to say died by suicide.
Right, but why not just say his brother Jace, the end, or his brother Jace who passed away.
Or his late brother Jace.
Yeah, his late brother Jace. Well, I mean, if he would have died in a combine accident, which she would have said, and who died and who got swallowed up in a corn feeder or something, like where do you draw the line?
Dove into a wood chipper.
Yeah. He had the call of the void and dove into a wood chipper. At what point do you not describe the death? And you just say...
That is a weird thing, that when someone does die by suicide, that's always tacked on at the end.
It is...
Like we have to acknowledge that they ended their own life.
Yeah. That's
maybe it's death shaming them.
That gets you the Emmy when you bring that up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like my mom might do this sort of thing where like 30 years later she'll be describing somebody who 30 years ago might have got divorced. So
yeah.
she'll describe the person
the
and then say,
ultimate shame.
And she got a divorce.
But we all saw that coming.
So there's always a little scarlet letter.
She could never hold a man.
But the thing about that report where she says that Dak says people think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I've heard more people say it's kind of a Weasley way out to go under and not get that while you're awake.
It's not a true tattoo.
Yeah, that you're taking an end around, that you're cheating.
That's part of the experience.
Yeah, maybe so.
That looks like it would suck.
Ty would know. And so would you, Bob.
Yeah, but I guess this is the equivalent of a leg sleeve. Is that what we're calling these?
Yeah, and I think there were 3 or 4 artists working at the same time.
That's incredible. I mean, it looks amazing, to be honest.
And by the way, it was a weird throw-in, too, whenever she said...
And Melissa again.
Mike, you might have heard that Dak got a massive tattoo on his right leg this offseason. He went under anesthesia for nearly 11 hours. He said, I know, people think it's crazy, but it's essentially his life story, including the trailer park he grew up in, Pine Creek Estates in Louisiana, a moose, the nickname for his brother Jace, who died by suicide, and his late...
Okay, I just caught that. I just thought, when she was going through his life story that she said the trailer park where he grew up in, a moose, and then a picture of the brother. I didn't know that was the nickname of the brother. I just thought it was a moose. That makes sense now.
Wait a minute.
That was Jace's nickname.
Okay,
Moose.
all right.
Yeah.
Not a picture of George.
Yeah, George holding the Picks with Friends trophy.
And then he got the Ranger Pegasus, huh?
I'm going to ask you guys a question.
What does that cost?
That tattoo?
Yes, because I think there's no I'm almost positive that there's no more lucrative career than NFL quarterback. But right below that might be professional athlete tattoo artist. If you're like really good at it, you always hear that they I believe in Dak's case, he made a special trip to Vegas. I believe that was in that story, right?
So did he bring his anesthesiologist with him to Vegas?
I don't know, but what could a full leg tattoo cost Dak? Okay, so you're good enough to make the leg look like that, which is amazing.
$25,000.
Takes 11 hours.
Not counting the anesthesia.
You got to put them out. I mean,
$25,000.
It's an
$30,000?
You know what? I don't know.
50?
It sounds amazing, but and it sounds right. I'd believe that, but gosh, they just did something on TV this weekend about another player who just got a big tattoo. So he went to go see special tattoo artist. Oh, it was in the last Hard Knocks. What Jets player just did this?
Mark Gastineau.
No, it was our guy Alan Lazard.
Oh, from
so in the last
Iowa
Hard
State.
Knocks, he goes to Brooklyn tattoo artist for the Stars, and he goes and gets an original tattoo. And I just wonder when they see professional athlete walk through the door if they have a special laminated pricing sheet for them.
There's a different markup menu for
There's
those
no
guys.
doubt. When did Matt Ryan retire?
Last year?
Still not technically retired. I think he's made sure to say he's available.
Even better, what I'm about to play. So Matt Ryan is now in the booth. Matt Ryan is doing games in a 3-man booth, and I believe one of the barbers is there, Tiki. And they were doing the Vikings-Buccaneers game yesterday.
Yes, they were.
And you tell me, Matt Ryan, if this is a really good reference.
And wrapped up at the 31.
Oops, wrong one. Here we go.
Well, this is just an unbelievable play by Baker right here. Tiki, you talked about it. His ability to go both ways on bootlegs. He's going to the left here. Show us what he's doing.
Yep, he's going to the left, and instead of taking that shot or trying to run around that shot that he's going to take, he just gets both feet off the ground, which allows him to flip his hips and get a good throw in.
It's rare. You don't see guys be able to do that, although when I played, it was a little bit different, right? Guys didn't do this all the time. You're seeing more and more of it now as part of being a modern NFL quarterback. Throwing.
When I played.
In my day.
Last year.
It's not Y.A. Tittle.
When I played, I'm not even retired yet, but when I played, that was so weird. He instantly gets called out.
When I played, it was a little bit different, right? Guys didn't do this all the time. You're seeing more and more of it now as part of being a modern NFL quarterback, throwing from off-platform situations.
You played last year. You said when I played. You just played. He means when he came in.
You played last year. Dude, what are you even doing?
But he is right. Compared to the modern 2023 NFL.
Off-the-field notes, in a way, from college football over the weekend that I thought we should address. And the first is this article that Ross Dellinger did, Yahoo Sports, one of the best college football writers in America. Nobody had heard about this, what Steve Sarkisian went through, until he opened up to Dellinger about this. And Dellinger wrote about it on Saturday, I believe, is when the column came out. So nobody knew this except his inner circle until Saturday. Dellinger writes that he went to Sark's office to do a preview about Texas and Alabama and just visit with him. And he found out that Sark has a 7-inch vertical scar stretching from the top of his ribcage to his stomach. Beneath it, his sternum is held together by wiring after the doctors sawed through it 3 years ago.
Hey.
Beneath that, his beating heart pumps blood throughout his body with the help from a pig valve. Sark joked, "I've got pig S in my body."
Pig snob.
It's actually a pig valve, and Dellinger says for those who have undergone surgery to repair a congenital anomaly for a bicuspid valve, which is what he had to do. It's a common thing to use the pig valve. But they say that Sark was potentially days and certainly weeks away from suffering a life-ending heart aneurysm.
Dang.
And I found this interesting because we all think that Nick Saban is very crusty and has a bad relationship with all of his former coaches. But I think most of the time the opposite is true. Like, I think he and Sark have a really good relationship.
I do too. I think he's really demanding of them, but in return, I think all those assistants become better coaches.
Yeah. And in this case, Saban saved Sarkisian's life twice.
Yeah.
He saved his coaching career when he hired him as an analyst back in 2016 after alcoholism led to Sark being fired at USC. And then he rehired him in 2019 to run the Tide's offense. Well, L'Oreal Sarkisian, who is Steve Sarkisian's wife, says that Saban not only saved his career but his life because 15 years ago, 2 years into Saban's tenure at Alabama, trainers and doctors decided to perform a full physical on Saban. It wasn't a routine physical. It was a 3-hour ordeal with tons of diagnostic tests, ultrasounds, blood testing, doctor's visit, saw a cardiologist. Saban loved it. And so from then on, he recommended that his entire staff get the same treatment every year. He says, you can't imagine the stress that these guys are under, so I want to make sure that they're all healthy. Well, in July of 2020, Sark took that physical. The treadmill test followed by the cardiac MRI revealed his condition, that congenital anomaly. Blood was leaking into the heart, and his aorta had swelled to the point of a near-ruptured aneurysm. Could have happened within days. So surgeons got him on the table a couple of days later, and they sawed the sternum with the surgical tool, replaced his valve with one from a pig, and then they had to cool down his body to under 80 degrees. They say this is a technique common with this intensive surgery. They nearly stopped his heart, and when they did that, like his wife said, I don't want to say he was dead, but he was almost dead. Once he emerged from that, it took him a while to figure out how to think again and how to walk again.
Golly, how scary.
And nobody knew he went through this.
Yeah, he's very private about it.
But he rehabbed pretty quickly, and he was back after, about a month. He was back at work. And it's pretty amazing. And I thought Fernando had interesting insight on this. As he pointed out, Sark coaches to win. He's never been accused of being an offensive mind that just plays it safe.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that in his coaching. And Fernando's theory is he's been through this. He's been dead and back. He's been through alcoholism. He's hit rock bottom a couple of times. And so losing a football game isn't that big a deal to him. Not that he's reckless, but I think it's a pretty solid theory.
I could see that, and I could also see why he feels gratitude towards Saban for what he did for him off the field with that test. And
yes.
And also, giving him a chance to get back in coaching after going through that terrible time at USC. Just seeing them, and again, reading body language of those two talking before the game, it looks like Sark just absolutely loves him.
Yeah, I think so too. Sark was only 46 when they found that anomaly and performed that surgery. He's still a young man. And also in college football coach's corner this morning, the Art Briles story caught fire over the weekend. So Jeff Lebby is the OU offensive coordinator. They're playing SMU. And after the game, photos of Lebby and his father-in-law, Art Briles, on the field together started to circulate on the internet. And it had OU fans up in arms. And the OU AD, Joe Castiglione, had to address this, and he said it should not have happened. He said that Brent Venables, the head coach, was unaware, and he said that it's been handled with the parties involved.
So what they went to Levy and said, hey, don't bring your dad or your father-in-law on the sideline anymore?
Pretty much, and he was apparently told not to do that ever. But he still did it, and Briles was wearing an OU shirt.
I thought that made it worse, the fact that it almost looked like a member of the staff.
Yes, it did. By the way, I thought he Briles looked a little weird. He had kind of longer hair and a goatee. I thought he looked like a cross between Brian Bosworth and Willie Nelson. Look at that picture.
Thought, it looked like he had become a singer-songwriter, maybe.
So a lot of backlash. You know, a lot of people wanted Jeff Lebby fired. I don't necessarily want to go that far. I might just fire him for lack of offensive production. But I don't know about firing him over this. Although he did appear to double down on it that evening, and the next morning he apparently changed his Facebook profile pic and Instagram profile pic to the picture of him with Briles on the field.
Well, and he brought up the point, that's my father-in-law. That's the grandfather to my kids. So, yeah, he's an ex-coach, and I invited him down on the sidelines. I understand that part of it. And OU knew that when they hired him. That's
right.
Art Briles' son-in-law. So it was kind of strange to me that this is almost like, hey, wait a minute, that's his father-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
I think it was more, hey, wait a minute, he's on the field after a game wearing an OU shirt?
Yeah, I guess it was the garb that maybe took it a step further.
But I couldn't help but think about the Briles situation, and we've seen scandalized coaches before. And what do we always wonder? Are they going to get a second chance or a third chance? And I can't remember what we were saying 6-7 years ago, whether Briles would get another chance. But his case is pretty unique, and the only one I could really think that compares to it is Dave Bliss, both involved in massive scandals and oddly both at Baylor.
Yeah.
But Briles really hasn't gotten a second chance. He coached high school a little bit. He coached pro football in Italy. He's rumored to be coaching that North American team that Dallas might get, but he really has not gotten another chance in big-time college football. Just like Dave Bliss never got another chance at college basketball.
I think our answer used to be, I think he's going to get another shot. But I think the answer is now it's pretty clear that he's not.
That scandal, Baylor, according to the NCAA report, it said in each instance when the head coach, Briles, received information from a staff member regarding potential criminal conduct by a football student athlete, and a lot of that was sexual assault with female students at Baylor, he did not report the information and did not personally look any further into the matter. And I think that's
a major problem.
That part of the NCAA report is hanging over him forever.
Yeah, as it should.
Movies, TV shows, books, podcasts, and more. It's What Women Binge with Melissa Joan Hart and her friend Amanda Lee.
Talking about the SAG strike.
A large portion of SAG lives on their residuals. When I did Nickelodeon, I, since 1993, haven't seen a dime on Clarissa. Right. And they want me to come promote it when it launches on Paramount Plus or it's back on Nickelodeon. And it's like, I would love to, but they won't pay me. So I'm like, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to work for free when there's no benefit for me.
What Women Binge, wherever you listen.
At Casper, we love sleep as much as you do. That's why we're bringing back the very first bed-in-a-box millions love.
But I'd love to get a new car.
A new
car?
Yes,
Cur.
but my craft coffee fits so perfectly in the cup holder of this one, and I've just never found another cup holder.
Well, they're pretty much the same, aren't they? Oh, here comes the morning coffee.
So into his craft coffee. Dr. Maxwell, if we could.
Boy, that must be good coffee.
Can we ask you about the psychology of winning your season opener 40-0?
First, I need to say that I have been accused. And this is tough to talk about.
No.
I've been accused by one of my psychology students, who I must say is 21 years of age and fully an adult.
Okay.
And I want to say that my relationship with him has always been very cordial and professional.
Okay.
I've been accused of being too concerned with sports psychology at the expense of regular psychology. And I resent that he did this.
Okay.
So he lodged this complaint against me because to him and to everyone, I say sports psychology is regular psychology.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just with a sports angle.
Right.
So I've written a few incredible best-selling books lately that are about to go on sale, and I brought them to you guys.
That doesn't make any
So
sense.
you can have first crack at them.
Okay.
Okay, this one is a 700, look how big this book is, a 748-page thriller. It's called My Personal Journey During the Season Opener Against the Giants by Rico Dowdle.
He has
700 something pages
in 24 hours.
Everything, every experience he had during that game.
Must be a lot of pictures in there or something.
Yes. This is called. Look, this is Little Man, Big Dreams: The Deuce Vaughn Journey.
Okay.
From being a child to being a child-sized man.
Okay.
Listen, any fan of the longest tenured quarterback in the NFL currently with the same team needs this next book.
Okay.
This is called, it's a huge book, as you can see. Look how large
Wow.
it is. It's still large.
Coffee table.
It's a coffee table-sized book. It's called My Life by Dak Prescott. Now, it's 100-page wordless coffee table book, only with pictures of his leg tattoos.
Wow.
Only the pictures.
Well,
it tells
it is
the
his
entire
life.
story
Tells
of
the
his
story.
life. Yes.
Tells the whole story.
Interesting.
Just in leg tattoos. As far as we know, it is the first book entirely of leg tattoos.
It's got to be.
Designed specifically for the coffee table.
Yes. It's a beautiful piece of work.
Yes. And this here, this is a great one. This is a book about kitchen countertop decorations by Mike McCarthy.
Oh.
Huh.
What's the title of that book?
Complimentary Fruit Bowl.
Complimentary fruit bowl.
Complimentary fruit bowl.
Complimentary fruit bowl.
Okay.
All right. I'll read that.
Every kitchen needs one of those, I guess.
Now, I don't just have cowboy-related books here.
What related?
Cowboy-related books.
What?
Cowboy-related books.
Oh, cowboy-related books.
I swear I had no idea what he's saying.
Yes. This is called My Life in Poetry as a Gravelly Voiced Man's Man by Bruce Bochy.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't know. Did you guys knew that he wrote poetry?
I did
not know that he wrote poetry.
Right. But you'll get
Maybe we'll hear
such
that later
poems
this week.
as Gutting a Deer for Christmas and Garage Drinking While She Has Her Friends Over.
Just one of the chapters in the Bochy book.
Just one of the chapters, yes. And if any of your viewers find themselves pregnant with a fetus baby right now and you haven't settled on a name yet, I recommend my Spurts book called A Book of 1,000 Names because it's a great way to get some good boy names.
How's that a sports book?
Well, it's written by Jerry Jones, and the subhead is All the People Who I Will Let Into the Ring of Honor Before Jimmy.
That's a long list.
But you can still get some great ideas like Alundus, Shante, Taco, Stepfret. Yes, and you guys are in Spirits Media, right?
Yes.
You consider
Yes,
yourself
yes.
Spirits Media? Of course you do. Well, how about this? The new Mike Tirico memoir is finally out, and I wrote the foreword to it.
Oh.
So please, I beg you all to take a look at Why That Woman Is Lying Just as Much as Those Other Women.
Oh, my God.
Come
What
on
an
now.
odd title.
Why is he releasing that?
I don't know. I advised him against it, and the whole prologue is about me advising him
Seemed like
against
a good
it.
idea.
But anyway, you guys stop by the boiler room. I just made a...
Oh, you also work in our boiler room.
Bye, Dr. Carlton Maxwell. All right, it's 8:47 on the ticket.
It's time for kickoff, and the Believe podcast will get you ready for the new season.
If you don't dominate in the running game, you won't win this football game.
Believe has podcasts covering all 32 professional teams and many of your favorite college teams, too.
He was always kind of one step ahead of everybody.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
He's been such a part of the fabric of this team, so closely associated with the city, with championship-level football.
Search BLEAV podcasts wherever you listen.
At Casper, we love sleep as much as you do. That's why we're bringing back the very first bed-in-a-box millions love at a price everyone will love. Meet the Casper, a mattress so comfortable it could only have one name. Enjoy 4 layers of cozy support for just $9.95. Plus, get AirScape technology to help you wake up refreshed. Get your best rest at our best price with the new Casper mattress. Shop online or visit a Casper sleep shop near you today. Casper, for the love of sleep. Exclusions apply. See casper.com/promo.
If you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP, consider that CPAPs were invented in 1980. Do you even remember 1980? Everyone's house had one telephone. There were like 4 TV channels. Come on. You played video games in arcades and watched movies in theaters. GPS was a folded map and a helpful gas station attendant.
Gordon! And he magically appears. Like when we started the segment, he wasn't here, and then all of a sudden,
here he is.
It's Gordon.
Hello, Invasion.
Good morning
Hi,
to
Gordon.
you.
How are you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm doing well. Just got out of a big-time meeting.
It was high level.
Man.
I've never seen you pay attention so hard in a meeting.
That's ridiculous.
Like when I walked by and saw
that. I nod off in all of those meetings. I couldn't tell you what was said.
Man, I would like to pull the curtain back a bit, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I know you're a little hesitant at that at times.
Pull back the curtain music.
I like to see what's on the other side.
That's how we pull back the curtain. What are your sport viewing habits?
What am my sport viewing habit?
Yes, they're habits. I'm always curious because every time we have sports related things, Gordon is always excluded. But I don't think you run from watching sports, or am I totally wrong? Like, I know you watch Cowboys because it's what we do around here.
Correct.
But other than that, are you even seeking out watching any type of sporting event?
No. The answer is no.
And have you always been like that?
Yes. No, I think that even when I didn't watch, I'm trying to think. Cowboy games are about the only thing that I would watch of my own leisure and pleasure. But, and then Rangers, I followed the Rangers a little while in the late 90s. Seems like I got into them then.
When they first started making their playoff run.
With Pudge and Wangan.
Yes. Watched them then. But as far as seeking out sporting events, I don't think that I've...
Have you ever been to a live sporting event?
Sure, lots of them.
Just because of the job.
No, I mean outside of this. Outside not going as a part for work.
Like someone handed you 50-yard line tickets to not even a Cowboy game. Let's say it's the biggest game of the week.
So
you're there
I
in
have
that city.
50 tickets on the 1 yard line?
No. You have 2 tickets at the 50-yard
line tickets. Okay,
that's the middle of a football field.
Okay. Yeah, I would go see, if it was a big game, I'd go see it probably. Maybe, I don't know.
Would you go to Texas OU at the Cotton Bowl?
It seems like I went to one of those.
For fun. Just it has no association. You're not going to talk about it on the air.
Yeah, it seems like I went to one of those, but I'm not sure on that.
One of those. Right. Okay, is it true? Truth or dare?
Okay.
Ooh.
And I would always watch the Super
Kiss
Bowl
for
even
5
before
seconds.
I worked at the station.
I'm asking you.
Actually,
truth or dare, Gordon?
Okay.
You have to pick one.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
That's
how the game works.
Dare.
What the hell is going on?
No, truth.
Dare. Okay, well then how is it a game?
Because we know what you need to pick.
Okay.
You only pick dares if we have a bigger group of people.
Okay.
How many people do you need for that?
I'll think about that.
When was the
I'll get
last
back
time
to
you actually played real truth or dare?
It's been a long, probably college.
Yeah.
As you're in a room, and, it's like 12 people, and you're nervous because half of the room's girls and guys. And
and everyone's hoping they get dared to do some kissing.
That was very popular at church lock-ins.
Yeah, it was.
Very
Truth
popular.
or dare. Did you read a book during the NBA Finals?
Oh. That is true. Absolutely, that is true. I was reading M. Scott Peck's The Road... Further down the road less traveled. It was a follow-up to The Road Less Traveled.
You're at the NBA Finals.
Correct, yes.
History in front of you because it's the Mavericks' first finals run.
In my defense, there were a lot of other ticket guys who were sitting around me, and I knew that they were paying attention, so we had it covered. It wasn't like I needed to watch all of it.
People are celebrating. It's like, you got beer on my page.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
And I believe I had a highlighter with me. So I'm highlighting.
How can you all that noise?
I don't know. I'm sure it was difficult to do it. I was telling people around me to keep it down. I remember that.
And it startles you as they celebrate a bucket.
Yes.
And, you kind of drop, lose your place.
And then they would get confused after I would read a particularly incisive and insightful passage. I would jump up and start cheering. And it'd be at a quiet moment during the game, and everyone was very confused.
You have the highlighter top in your mouth as you.
Yes.
Put it.
That is a true story, and for some reason that I guess I didn't realize what a big reaction that would get from people, but people still bring that up all the time or tweet me pictures when they see someone else reading a book at a sporting event. But apparently that's very bad form. You're not supposed to do it.
It's a finals game.
Yeah.
And you're reading a book.
Yes.
Why not just stay
I was doing something that was actually interesting.
So the last time you attended a sporting event without a ticket credential?
Oh, man. I don't – like a professional sporting event.
This century, since 2000.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's really happened. Wow. No, I take that back because I remember when I was in Boston, I went to watch the Rangers and the Red Sox play.
What's the name
don't
of the
tell
park?
me. It's got the Green Monster.
It's
Fenway.
famous.
Fenway.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Great. You do work at a sports station.
And I went of my own volition to go see it. And, of course, I got the hookup because we knew people worked for the Rangers.
That's fine.
But went and watched them play, and that was the night that Benji Molina hit for the cycle.
Wow. He saw a cycle.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's pretty rare, isn't it?
It is rare, yes.
Especially for Benji Molina, because I remember when he got the triple and Tom Grieve went
watching
nuts.
trying to run that one.
to hustle out a triple, right.
Did you know at the time he hit the cycle, did you understand?
Oh, yes. And I was with other people who knew even less about baseball than I did, and I was trying to make them aware. I said,
so you
have to watch. Yes, I was explaining this. I was saying, you have to watch this because this guy is one accomplishment away from hitting for the cycle, and this would be a huge historic thing. And lo and behold, he does it, hits for the cycle. So I was there when how many Rangers have hit for the cycle? It may be only one or two.
Yeah, Beltre did it twice, I think. And somebody random did it, like Gary Matthews Jr.
Kinsler's done it.
Yeah, Shin-Soo Choo did it.
Oh, apparently it's... Oh, those are fake.
It's not. No.
Those are real.
That's
people
real.
were talking.
real.
This
okay, so it's
station
July
has
16th
destabilized my sense of reality.
I have 11 Rangers have hit for the cycle.
So see, it's pretty common.
No, there's only been like 300 and something in baseball history.
Okay.
Which out of the grand scheme of all of them, there's been slightly more cycles than no hitters, but we make a much bigger deal out of no hitters.
I've also witnessed a perfect game.
What?
Yes, I was there when Kenny Rogers threw his perfect game.
In 94.
So you're like the
oh my
you're like the
God.
magic elixir for history.
Okay, you and I are going to a game together.
And it seemed like
I'm
there was
forcing you.
one other crazy sports thing I witnessed. I can't remember what it was. I witnessed Eddie Belfour's collapse in the NHL Finals one time.
Okay, that was Game 1 of the 2000 Cup Finals.
That was when George and Craig, because
he
I had
7
this
goals. It was ridiculous.
I had these ridiculous idiot sports opinions where everyone says some player's real great, and then I watch him and I go, I don't see what's so great about this player, and everybody's like, no. I mean, I remember this with Dak. When Dak had played so well that first season, I said, I don't understand why you can't even consider him being the quarterback over Tony Romo. No, Gordon, you just don't do it. Tony Romo's the guy, and Dak will never be the guy. I mean, Tony Romo's your guy, and
George.
And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened.
You know, and it
funny. Takes a childlike mind to see certain things in sports.
And I think that's why your observations hit home because, you know, we all feel that we've watched this for a long time. We know what we're talking about, and you're going, man, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And
I'm telling you, I'm reporting an unfiltered view of what's right in front of me.
And not
with
sports
Eddie Belfour
cliches or anything.
I was watching Eddie Belfour going, I don't think he's quite as great and crisp as as you guys with your legacy memory of Eddie Belfour is, it's coloring the way you're seeing him now. I'm saying, I just don't see that he's so great. And they were like, Gordon, you're an idiot. Just watch it. Do us a favor. We're going to the game tonight. We're watching them here in the finals. This will be game 1. And just really pay attention to Eddie, and you will see the intricacies that make him such a great
And how many goals did he give up?
It was 7-3 was what they lost the game with.
Yeah, and he let in, I think, 5 or 6, and they pulled him from the game.
And that was the cough syrup or whatever that he had blamed that he had taken beforehand, and it numbed him. And to this day, if he hadn't done that, we would have back-to-back cups.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And this was all just watch tonight. Do us a favor. If you can commit to this, you will see Gordon. And I watched, and that was the greatest sports watching experience I've ever had, because I had George and Craig on either side of me, and everything that happened would just I would just go crazy.
Idiot.
Because they were
bad real quick, too.
It was like you would not have written that in a comedy movie, because it's just that's too obvious that it's going to happen this way.
So July 16th, 2010 is Benji Molina's hitting for the cycle, and you were there in Boston to witness it.
In Boston, witnessed it. Absolutely.
That is remarkable.
I mean, the perfect game is crazier because that was in 94. So why did you go to a Rangers game in 94?
Okay, so that one was kind of ticket related, because I was going to a lot of games. It was right after the ballpark opened, right after the ticket went on the air. So I was going out to the ballpark quite a bit because I really enjoyed that experience.
Okay.
Because we had our own booth. There was one booth that wasn't used by the regular press, and so they kind of just let the ticket guys sit in there. And we would sit in there and watch it, and then I was there that night.
Do you miss the locker room, clubhouse interactions? That was pretty much a staple of ticket in the early days.
What do you mean? Like the actual
going to the locker room after a game, a clubhouse after a game, and trying to do bits or even talk to everyone?
I hated that, because that was a weird experience too, because I wasn't aware how prickly baseball players are. Like, they're noted for being some of the biggest jerks of all the professional sports. And I guess it's because they have so many games and they have so much dealings with the press. And it is, to me, in my childlike mind, I thought it was really weird. Well, I understand why they're prickly. We get to go into their private space right after the game and just loiter around until they're ready to talk to us.
They're just
the guys are getting out of the shower and everything.
Yeah,
I would be pissed if I were them too.
Yeah.
And I'd question that practice, and everybody's like, no. I mean, like when they started being kind of jerky and everything, I'd say, well, I kind of understand, because no, you don't understand. We have the right to be in here because we're the press. It's the way it's been for hundreds of years.
You're right, big jerk.
Just because it's been this way for a while doesn't mean that it's wrong.
It's very odd. It's very true.
And baseball players are the worst as far as...
Yeah, they were really testy.
Yeah, hockey players are the nicest dudes in the world.
Hands down.
But I also didn't know that they were testy and you're supposed to approach them like church mice and all this kind of stuff.
Excuse me, do you mind?
So I would go up and just ask them for bits. Like, I didn't think anything of it because I didn't know that yet.
Radio superstar coming through.
And I was shocked at how many of them were nice. Like, a lot of them would just do it. And other media people were like, I can't believe you went up and asked so-and-so. It's like, why? Why is that? Oh, because he's known for this and this and this. Well, I didn't know he had any of this backstory.
And that's if you just approach him like that.
The blank slate.
Yeah, normally about 75, 80% of the time, they're down with it. You know, you could have people that's going to be in a bad mood. It happens.
Yeah.
But, I got turned down stone cold by Vladimir Guerrero because that was my ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to speak with. I didn't even know if I had a bid plan. I just wanted to talk to Vladdy, and I walked up one time in the clubhouse and said, hey, Vladdy, do you have a second? He said, no. And I turned around, walked out, got in my car, drove home.
Crying the whole way.
And you haven't been in a locker room
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't been back to the locker room.
I didn't even stay. I was like, okay, I can't go to the clubhouse anymore.
It happens,
because
man.
That wrecked me. But then we did an interview with him. Bob did in Spanish. You remember that? And it was just because he doesn't speak English well. So that's going to be difficult to do an interview in English. And I didn't know. He was really nice when Bob attempted to speak to him and do the whole interview in Spanish. But that wrecked me.
One of my first interactions with baseball players was they had some event out at the ballpark. It was like the Legends of the Game or something like this. And I interviewed I need to bring the list of people I interviewed that day. I mean, it was, Gaylord Perry and Reggie Jackson, who was my childhood hero. I loved Reggie. Got to talk with him and Mickey Mantle and all these people. And that was the one that I remember people saying, I can't believe Reggie played along with you and that Mickey played along with you, because apparently those were both known as jerks to the media at times. Mm-hmm. And, they were great. And I got to talk to him. It really impressed my dad because his childhood hero was Mickey Mantle. And then I got to talk to Reggie, and this is like the second time I was ever at the ballpark kind of thing.
Isn't it
was
great when you have a hero like that and he turned out to be the nicest guy in the world?
Yes.
Like Randall Cunningham, I met him, and I was floored about how nice he was. But then it's just, oh, my gosh, it's everything I pictured.
Yeah.
He's tall, handsome, and he's nice. How great is that?
It's awesome.
But then when the guy turns around and he's kind of a jerk, that wrecks you a bit.
I know it.
You have this, you put him on this pedestal of, okay, I just want to speak to this guy. That's all I want to do. And then they
that
just
really
kind of turn you down, and it messes with you for a while.
But it's tough. I mean, you think about those people and how many interactions they have with people.
I know. They don't know
and
you.
They have to have time for a human life, too, and they're in a bad spot. What if they're pissed off because they just got into a fight with someone on the phone, everything, but they're expected to be really sweet to you when they see you. And yeah, it breaks your heart if they're not.
My heart, it's been broken a while.
Because of Vlad?
A few times. Well, the Vlad
but Randall
thing,
made up for it.
The Vlad thing wrecked me. Randall was really early. Vlad wrecked me.
Yeah, but that's not, I mean, that's just him.
I know, and I didn't know that at the time. You just know you got stone cold turned down in front of everyone.
Experiences that you have where you're just like, man, I loved this guy. You were my favorite player, and now I don't even like I can't ever get this out of my mind. I hate player you. Like maybe you go home and you're an amazing dad and husband and really kick ass with your friends, but you are a colossal A.
But I've heard people call pro athletes.
What are we doing?
I've heard people call pro athletes jerks. They say, yeah, I went up to him one time and asked if I could have his autograph or take a selfie with him, or could he just talk to my friend on the phone, or whatever it is that they're requesting of the athlete. And they go, yeah, and he was a complete jerk to me and said no. And I go, well, so where was this? Where did it happen? I was at this restaurant, and I went up and he was eating with his family, and I went up and asked him everything, and I'm like, well, wait, that's a little bit more context here.
Right.
But, everybody's cropping stories to...
Right, fit their narrative.
Yeah.
All right, hit the signal.
I
like
jumped
pulling
the gun.
the curtain back on Sports Gordo.
Sports Gordo. I'm secretly a sports genius. I just don't even know it myself yet.
So during
That's my bold claim.
Cowboy game on Sunday, what book will you be reading?
I'm reading this book called Perfume. It's really good writing. So there you go.
All right, great review.
Thanks for that, Gordon.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the visit. We'll see you next week. We'll talk college football with Greg McElroy next.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. You want an exciting and fast-paced podcast based on one of the most popular segments in the history of The Rich Eisen Show? Well, you got it. Overreaction Monday.
Season Pass from TXU Energy gives you 50% off energy charges all winter and summer. Guaranteed. Satisfied customers even enjoy savings of $450 a year. No wonder Season Pass is one of TXU Energy's most popular plans. Learn more at TXU.com.
Once again, The Ticket presents Why Today Doesn't Suck.
Happy birthday to you. And a happy, good day.
And now, here are your hosts, Sean Bass and David Mino.
Thank you for spending your midday Friday with us, getting ready for some football this weekend. I'm David Mino, that's Sean Bass.
Hey.
And at 3:01, here's Ham.
David Mino.
Thank you.
David Mino.
ET's Market Bakery brings you Sante Center for Healing. And here's One Less Rib Monty.
Thank you, Ham. Great week, by the way. Today is Friday. Wait a minute. I don't see the hard line anywhere. Are they not here today?
No, they quit.
Are we going to the top 10 after this?
Wild Ass Circus.
Mm-hmm.
We refuse to broadcast.
There he is.
Yeah, we refuse to broadcast in studio until the Rangers lose.
Well, we'll see you Monday.
See you tomorrow.
Hey.
See you in November. Yeah.
Never ever quit.
No.
Is that still what they say?
It's time.
No, it's never ever queef.
Claw.
That's 2023.
Yeah, he put a cork in it. So I hear Corby.
Just don't take
Dave.
the cork out.
Corby.
Do we have a Bob?
Hello.
Bob.
Hello. We got pulled over. Corby and I got pulled over by Fort Worth 5-0 on the way to
like right there,
location.
Literally right next to where we are at Social House, by the way, and down on West 7th.
Were you holding?
Come visit us.
Share the apple?
Well,
do you have to plug it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he threw the apple.
It is Pearl Jam night
into
2.
the storm drain.
Dave, you have to eat the
I just got out and started running.
Apples flying everywhere.
I know my rights, so you're going to need a warrant for that.
We were trying to find the parking garage, and Corby told me to take a right onto a one-way street, so I was going the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's a dead giveaway.
And then the police officer was coming towards us, so I just went around him.
Did you wave?
And then he just put his hands up like, what are you doing?
Where's the bar?
But then we had to explain. I was like, my phone, it guided us in this direction. I'm so sorry.
We're about to do a radio show right over there.
You know who I am,
We're not high.
You want to take a T-shirt?
How about take a condom, bro? I got one in my wallet.
Do you need an edible?
We're definitely not high right
Because
now.
it is almost 5.
A ticket 5 milligram.
I got a Delta
Just a
1310, bro.
We got off with a warning, though. Thank you to the Fort
That's
Worth
the
PD.
power of Corby, though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's privilege.
You were
right
going
there.
90 down a one-way the wrong way.
Show
Right.
the Rangers credential. We're
Throwing
good.
apples out the window and still got out of
Yeah,
it.
did you show him your 2002 Mavs credential?
I did raise my shirt up a little and just kind of
Just in
finger
case.
my nipple a little. Like, well, you want a little of this?
Did you FaceTime Coach P to set
Corby
things straight?
Yeah, hang on. You know Gary Patterson, right? All right, hang on.
You called
Hey,
Casey
Snake.
Paul Hall to help you?
Yeah, what do you need now?
How can I help you, Snake?
So you like Joel Klatt?
Just playing his guitar.
All right, well, let's get
Why
going
is is
here.
Matt Birmingham
Official.
FaceTiming me? He's doing it so I can't get it off of my computer.
Well, FaceTime.
It
You could just say,
bro.
why is Matt Birmingham, and then say anything. And the answer, it's because it's Matt Birmingham.
Sure seems that way.
At least he's not really giggling to himself right now.
Right.
He's having a good time. Well, today is Friday, September 15th, the 258th day of 2023. There are 107 days left in the year. On this date in 1928, Scottish bacteriologist Alexander Fleming discovers penicillin while studying influenza. Ultimately, fuel Corby and Davies Section 8 housing days. Remember that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
just put it anywhere.
Yeah, well, we tried. We would have.
Anyone that didn't see your paycheck.
Right.
Anyone that could jump the fence.
Anyone with a pulse.
Is that the audio of the research?
Yeah.
Just have him keep coughing.
While doing a ticker.
God.
Those germs are still on this microphone.
On this date in 1962, Mino, the Four Seasons, earned their first #1 hit with Sherry. It's a song we bonded over.
Jerry Freely!
No, it wasn't Mandingo.
Yes. More of this.
Let's see. In 1978, Muhammad Ali, the most common first name in the world, defeated Leon Spinks to become the first ever three-time heavyweight champion of the world.
He would get knocked out by Jake Paul in the first round.
Well, we did it for her right there.
30
Well,
seconds.
Jake Paul, will he fight that what's that big boxer that's good at
Kimbo.
boxing?
Kimbo Slice.
Tyson Fury.
Big boxer that's good at boxing.
He's
Tyson
like
Fury.
kind of
Sultan.
big and
Butterbean.
yeah, Butterbean. Is Jake Paul going to fight anybody real?
He didn't have the
Or is
guts
he-
to fight Butterbean.
He's going to keep fighting like Avery Johnson and Mr. T.
Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson.
He would destroy
Sonoris
Avery
Moss.
Johnson. I am confident of that.
What about
know, man.
what about BB?
Rexa?
Johnson.
No, Butterbean.
Probably.
I think Minos.
Split
Minos onto
decision.
something though. Could he
Him
be
fighting BB Rex.
Baby Rex?
She couldn't even take a cell phone to the head.
What about Dua Lipa?
Let's see. In 1996, the Texas Rangers retired their first ever number. That was old Nolan Ryan's 34.
No.
Beef and beer.
The JD have a
one's
number
ever
ever
gonna
retired?
wear it again.
Sean,
Jake Paul
Ty?
would destroy Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
What were the odds, Bob, that Eddie Vedder mentioned Nolan Ryan not
Bingo.
once
Bingo.
but twice
Yeah.
at the show?
He was ready to mention Nolan Ryan, not ready to mention JD.
You know what he said, though, which was really funny? He goes, because their drummer wasn't there, and he goes, yeah, so Matt Cameron, I mean, he's like our Michael Jordan. And he kind of looked around and he goes, or Nolan Ryan. Like, we didn't know who Michael Jordan
Yes.
was.
Let me
Texanize this.
Let me decode this.
Yeah.
kidding me?
Oh, Eddie, he's such a card.
I love EA.
So did Nolan Ryan play?
Nolan Ryan.
Let's see. In 2014, I didn't look much into this, but I thought it was very funny. Just the headline.
Jeremy Pena.
President Obama announces the U.S. will send 3,000 troops to help combat the spread of the Ebola virus.
Don't touch your friends.
I'm not quite sure what that meant.
Don't touch your friends. Sorry.
Can't do it.
I mean, we got like 8 more minutes.
Do we?
Yeah.
Of course.
Horse.
And Bob, Davey, are you guys ready to do the show by yourself today?
Dude.
Always.
Dude.
Because I know it's a special day for someone, which we'll get to in a minute. But 1 year ago today, tennis great Roger Federer announced his retirement from professional tennis with only 20 Grand Slam titles.
I was sitting on a plane.
Spare.
And on my birthday, I fly, Bob.
On your birthday.
Yeah.
On
My birthday,
your G5?
headed to
Red Rocks.
Colorado.
Watercolor.
Of course.
Bingo.
Wow. Yeah, I got the free space.
And I got the news on my phone.
Is this
and I
Chat
thought to myself,
Write me a Corby story.
Tell us what Corby would tell us on his birthday.
I honestly thought to myself, this fits. He wanted something special for my birthday. I'm gonna walk away from the sport that he gave so much of his fandom to. I'm gonna walk away for him.
He just thought it was fitting on this day.
Yeah.
Wait, today is your birthday, Corby?
Oh. Well, yes, it is.
Oh, my God!
Snake.
Queef. Snake.
Can't queef
How many rotations around the sun is this for you?
How many years young? In holding.
You're supposed to say 50 and holding.
Oh.
49 and holding.
So, by the way, thank you
Jalen
to
Smith birthday.
Thank you to the Eatsies folks who came all the way out here to Social House to bring a giant cookie cake. And everyone here, I am buying you a piece of cake.
You get a piece
right here at the Social House.
Get a piece of floor cake to celebrate.
Before
Damn right.
This
is yeah.
What a treat that would be, huh?
If he does sing Even Flow to Corby Flow, or
special Corby birthday lyrics,
then I'll be blown away. I really will be blown away.
Well, I hope he does it for you because you've earned it.
He's in there trying to rhyme something to Baker Mayfield. And he's really pre-show. It's very difficult.
Yeah, he can't rhyme anything with Jermaine Gresham. He's working really hard.
He's pacing the streets of downtown Fort Worth with his notepad like, no!
He's like, Stone, what rhymes with Kelmus?
Rhymes with Federer.
Switzer.
Yeah, Federer. How are you going to make that work? I can't do it, guys.
Steph
I can't
Curry.
do it.
How am I going to get that in there?
Okay, I got Isbell.
All right, well, P1 birthdays. Hey, Monty, today is Benjamin's 45th birthday. His leaders are the Hard Line. Drop request. He wants to hear anyone bragging. That from P1 Jake.
I was in Nashville over the weekend. Last night I was watching the local news on my computer. You know why? Because I could.
It's his birthday. We'll let him get a little cocky.
I've not fished in 35 years.
Whoa.
Look, I took a $5 overnight board op job instead of working for an oil billionaire.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's reverse rag.
That paid off.
Yeah.
So one of my golf
gratification.
buddies, he's Chinese, full blown.
Hey,
My
Monty,
wife, Jake.
please wish happy birthday to my husband, Dylan. He is turning 31.
Hey.
He claims to be a day one P1 listening all the way back to when he was a kid.
Still.
What does P rhyme with?
His leaders are everyone. He'd like Ham to pick his favorite stop-down drop.
This
That from
guy only-
B1 Samantha.
Only likes guys whose names you can't rhyme anything with.
So frustrating.
Could do fixing and mixing, but
Birthdays today. Oliver Stone, 77.
My
the
name
great Tommy
is
Lee
Keith
Jones,
Stone.
also 77.
Two-Face.
Yeah. Dan Marino.
Dan Marino?
Marino.
Dan Marino's birthday is today as well.
Let me see if else I can get.
He'll be able to link Switzer to fist her.
Wait, Dan Marino is not. Oh, you said 62.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Jason Kidd's birthday today?
Jason Terry.
Well, he joins us now.
Oh.
You know, Dan Marino once tried to hook up with my wife before we were married, and Ray Guy had to intervene.
Really?
Oh, my
Punning
God.
Ray Guy?
Dan Marino. Yeah, that was Ray Guy's final act before he died.
Right, and Dan Marino had him poisoned.
Did Ray Guy kick Dan Marino right in the nuts? Just punting his nuts in the next county?
Slaps him with an isotoner.
Should have seen the hang time.
I would definitely take Ray Guy over Dan Marino.
Dan Marino?
Let's see. Also,
Marino.
turning 52 today, Josh Charles. Drummer for Franz Ferdinand, Paul Thompson. Tom Hardy, 46.
Bane.
My guy.
Venom.
Well, hello, Brett.
Hey,
My
Corby.
name-
Happy birthday, Corby.
Is it Corby's birthday, Batman?
He was so good in
Yeah,
The Revenant.
Bane singing Even Flow now.
Yeah. Whoa,
Corby.
Even Flow.
It's kind of the same voice if you really think about it.
It's also kind of the.
Drive like butterfly.
It's also kind of the same voice as
Jeremy.
I will drink your milkshake.
Ben
Jason
Schwartz.
White.
That's John Ralphio from Parks and Rec, Bob. 42.
Brilliant.
Amazing
Legend.
character. Prince Ari, 39.
Oh, he
Oh.
don't know.
And Yoda.
Bane singing Even Flow.
It's levels, though, for G. John Bradley West, that's Samuel Tarley from Game of Thrones, is 35.
Greatness.
Oh,
Sports birthdays, we have Pete
Shout
Carroll,
out to the
72.
ticket, Samwell.
I wonder if he's still with that girl who was birthed by a dad that had sex with her sister.
What?
We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
we're
Corby,
gonna have to
it's your
roll
birthday.
that.
We'll say yeah, man.
Yeah, sure.
For sure,
Shout
bro.
out,
Happy
shout
birthday,
out to
bro.
everybody who's experiencing the show for the first time live.
We also have the aforementioned Jet. He's 46.
Okay, is he the one that was in Jumanji?
Classified
No, that was
Dynasty
Kevin
here at
Hart.
DFW as Make
Different.
Your Way Around.
We also have Josh Richardson, also former Mav.
3.
Born on the Stay Now Dead, Marco Polo. He invented the swimming
Polo. Fish out of water.
And also, the man who was named after his friend, Gaylord Perry. Born on this day, now dead.
And you're done.
Shut it down! Let's go!
Happy birthday, Corby.
Thank you.
Broadcasting live from the TXU
At OXO, there's a recipe for innovation. We create products that put a new spin on form and function. Add a small measure of convenience, a peel of comfort,